people say the hamsters don't ride. We do some serious riding. We really do.
Yeah.
So.
We had a group from California. You have a group from the East Coast. There's a few of us that ride in trucks if we have to. But
Absolutely. You do what you got to do to get here. Sometimes it's a time restraint, too. You only get a week off from work or whatever, and you need that. You got to be able to get here however you can get here.
You had a very special guest riding with you this year.
Yeah, my grandson rode with me. That was fun. He was 13 and it worked out really good. It was his first trip cross country, and he's like, I'm coming again next year, Grandpa. I said, well, we'll see. See what kind of a boy you are over the next year, on the trip,
Right.
And we got a big thing coming up now in 2 years is the 50th, so we'll probably try to organize some big runs across for the 50th one way or the next. So that'll be good.
Well, awesome. Thank you for stopping to talk to me.
Okay.
I'll see you inside.
I'll see you.
Hello, sir. We've met before. I'm Jason Hallman from Cycle Source TV.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
we have met.
So tell me a little bit about MRF. So we have a live stream going. So come on over this way a little bit.
Motorcycle Riders Foundation is the only organization representing street motorcyclists. We've had lobbyists in D.C. longer than any other organization. And again, it's strictly street motorcyclists. We work with protecting the aftermarket industry and the rights of individual riders. We're working with a lot of the clubs, especially on the profiling issues.
And we actually have boots on the ground in D.C.
Yes, we do. We have bikers inside the Beltway every year. Anywhere from 150 to 300 people show up for that. And we hit every office in D.C., every congressional and Senate office.
You guys are actually knocking on doors and invoking change, things like the Right to Repair Act, things that actually impact the aftermarket as well as the OEM.
Things that actually make a difference for the aftermarket, for the custom builders, for the individual riders, for the clubs. We're there for the street riders.
And where can they find out information about the MRF?
www.mrf.org. And we've also got the
the Independent Motorcycle Aftermarket, and that's one of the things, one of the initiatives that Bob Kay helps out with tremendously.
Yeah, Bob is doing a great job with that. We'd like to get a lot more people involved with that. Membership is cheap. It's the best bang you're going to get for your buck for protecting the industry.
Yeah,
when I say industry, I mean the aftermarket industry.
Yeah,
we don't represent the OEMs.
One collective voice to go in there and knock on those doors.
Everybody goes in with the same message. And we can put the boots on the ground. We do it every year.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for stopping by and talking to us. Have a great day.
Well, let's do this. Let's do Keith Paul.
Yes, sir. Hey, I know this guy. How are you today?
Good.
I think you put the first, didn't you put the first brick up here?
The first break, yeah, exactly.
The first row of bricks.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the
I'm
Hall
one
of
of the bricks.
Yes, sir. Right. Well, you are one of the backbones of our industry.
Yeah.
Tell me, after all these years and all these things that you've been doing for the last 55, 60 years, helping create the industry and the media and stuff, what is the one takeaway that you have still today when you come to something like this?
Well, I have sort of a mission in life, and that's to help the industry. And so whatever I can do, depending on, the times, what's going on in the industry, what's going on in the economy, whatever we can do to help the industry, that's what we're all about. And that's what Easy Riders was all about,
And still is. So for those that don't know, we had a big shift. Obviously, there was the Easy Riders has been brought back, not from the brink of anything other than now we have some of the early DNA there kind of driving force. Tell us what your initiative is with that so that people that are watching understand where you're taking it, because you're taking it somewhere a little bit different this time.
I'm taking it to hell. No, actually, you said it. You nailed it. That I'm taking it back to the roots in a lot of respects, but I'm taking it to a much broader audience because that's what we live in, the social media deal. We not only have the magazine, but now we have YouTube channels, we have internet entertainment. We got, you just name it, so the whole brand is going to expand.
You've always been an arbiter for kind of what I would say is kind of the background of things that the problems. Like you've always been somebody who's been an advocate for riders' rights and freedoms and things like that. What is your Do you see that? Do you see us still having those things if we collectively get together, or are they chipping away at that pretty regularly?
Well, there's two things to that. One is you're right, that we do still have those things. They're always shifting and kind of changing, the demographics changing, so the people change their attitudes about things like helmet laws and things of that nature, but people still always respect freedom. So, and then the other thing is we're going to go on a mission, a mentorship mission, to bring younger people into the motorcycle realm.
So that answers my next question. How optimistic are you about the fact that there's people coming up under you that are going to carry that torch?
Well, ever since I turned 50 years old, guys would say to me, "Oh, we're aging out, we're done, Well, nobody stopped having babies. There's more and more kids all the time. We just need to reach out to them and show them the excitement behind motorcycling and custom bikes."
Well, we'll put our arms around them. You have a great breakfast. Thank you for all you do. All right, buddy? Have a great day. Oh, really? Nice. My first question is how are you today, sir?
We're doing fine.
We're here, right?
Yeah. We're here and we're alive and well and waiting.
And you have a very, very distinct resume. Everybody knows you. Tell everybody what we would know you from. I know what it is, but you tell everybody here.
I don't know.
The 1976 Super Glide tank. You're the artist, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Is this your first year here at the Hall of Fame, or do you come every year?
No, this is the first time.
There's a lot of people here, aren't there?
Yeah. Here.
So there's a lot of friends here. We're going to have some breakfast today. We're going to induct some more people. It was really a pleasure to meet you, and have a great day. Thank you for coming.
God damn, I like these hands.
Thank you. No one's ever given me that compliment. We have a bike on display?
Yeah, we got a 74 FL or 76 FLH with the Eagle, and I got the Super Glide tank, the Sportster tank, the poster that he did in 1976 for the Eagle and the Barn Shield, but it looks good.
We'll make sure that we get that on our live stream in there as well too. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Okay, take care.
Have a good day. Yes, sir. Come on over, sir.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
Doing great.
Tony, pronounce your last name for me again.
Tony Pan, San
Tony,
Filippo.
So they were giving it. So Tony Pan. So this is the 25th induction ceremony. I see you've got something around your neck already. So you're not a newcomer here. Tell us what the Hall of Fame means to you.
It's the thing that's preserving our heritage. It's preserving our past. I mean, it's really important for people to come and see and remember who was before them, and see what was done. There's a lot of pioneers that paved the way for us, and a lot of their bikes and a lot of their legacy is being restored. If we didn't have a museum or something to store that legacy, these things get lost in history. So museums are very important in my mind.
I would agree with that. And here's where I want to go with this. How many years have you been coming to Sturgis?
Since late 80s.
Okay, so when you first started coming here, was there a conversation amongst your group of friends and the group of people that you hung out with and came to Sturgis with that we were going to have to do something like this? When did this kind of brain trust start?
I don't think there was a conversation back then. We weren't thinking about it that much, unfortunately. Some of us were, but I'm not that smart. Same with the freedom. I'm a freedom fighter, and the same with the laws. We thought our goal was to get rid of the helmet law, mandatory helmet laws. We thought we'd all go back home and ride our bikes and forget about it, but because the government kept pushing, we had to keep working on it. And I always tell people are mad at the government for pushing those laws. I says, that's the best thing that ever happened to us, because we were just a loose band of gypsies. When the government stepped on us, that's when we all gathered and got together. Thanks to Easy Riders Magazine and some of the people that before us that said, hey, we need to organize, and we're never going to get rid of these laws. So like I said, the government did us a favor by doing that, because now we're organized. Otherwise, we were just had our own little groups of people. Nobody knew anybody in the next state, you know.
Yeah, it gave us a reason to have a little bit more than a purpose to sit around a campfire.
Right, and it's become a family now.
Absolutely. A band of miscreants and misfits, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a pleasure to meet you. Thank
We
you so
call it
much.
the Gathering of the Tribes.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How are you?
I'm, we're personal friends, so I see you travel. I haven't seen you in a little bit. You've been traveling
No.
around a bunch.
A little bit.
So you come here every year. We get to see you and do this. What does something like this mean to you? Because you're a big legacy guy.
I am a big legacy guy. I think my outlook on this is it's pretty neat for the motorcycle industry. In regards to like an Indy and Larry being into the Hall of Fame, I think it's fucking 20 years too late, but it's in.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's,
At least that's what the fan base says when they send messages.
and I'm sure you get a ton of them because I see the social media feed that gets on, and you and I are in the same age group of this thing. What is our responsibility
You
to
look a
support
lot
this?
younger. You're a very handsome guy. I'm thinking I should move to Florida. Maybe I can get that feeling down. You hold on to motorcycles. I get rid of them or wreck them.
Oh, well, I try. I don't know what to say. I married well.
You did. I thought I married well too, but then all of a sudden I found myself divorced.
Yeah. So what is our responsibility to carry this forward? Is it just coming here, or is it actually getting involved?
For you, it's getting involved. For me, it's coming here, having some shitty coffee, talking shit, and seeing how many people are comfortable and uncomfortable. I like that.
Well, maybe you and I can have a nice coffee here before we go home.
If we could find one, we can do it, 100%. I would love it. I'm
Good to
just
s-
happy that it's all going on. There's a lot of good people here. I mean, look at this crowd. A lot of good people.
Well, it's good to see you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Much love to you, always. Yes, sir. Next on deck. I'm well. How are you? No,
This is just audio.
no, we're
right?
out. No, it's video. It's outside.
it-
You look cool with the sunglasses.
Okay, all right, okay. All right. What was your name?
My name's Jason Hall.
Jason,
Nice.
Yokanan Marcelino. I'm the producer of Iron Lily, the movie.
Oh, excellent. So, tell us what the Motorcycle Museum means to you in the Hall of Fame.
Fantastic. Last year at this very time, Lily Farrow, Iron Lily Farrow, who we are doing a major motion picture on, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. It was powerful, and what Craig and everybody else has been doing here for years, we're just happy to be part of it.
When you find something that really tugs at your soul, like the project that you're working on, the Iron Lily project and the movie and all that stuff, how do you? What's the biggest barrier to get people to understand how important legacy is?
Boy, I tell you, history is everything, man. And when we're talking about, in this particular situation, 1912, she was Lily Farrow was the first owner-operator of a Harley-Davidson dealership. That's deep, man. I mean, that we're talking World War I. We're talking the Spanish flu of 18. We're talking overcoming the stock market crash, the Roaring '20s, and the whole thing. And it means everything. Her history, the history of this place, history of Harley, history of all this, of everything. I mean, it's unstoppable.
Yeah. So we have an obligation as people that want to see things happen tomorrow and the next day, to kind of leave our brick in that wall and see how big we can get it.
Repeat that again.
Well, I'm saying just individually, we all have a responsibility to lay our brick and do our work in that. And so we have to. The bigger the house gets, the stronger it is. You know what I mean?
I was talking to Vicky, the lady right behind me here, just before I came up here, and she says, "You know what? I want to thank you for being here for 4 straight years. You're from tenacity and overcoming to just keep going, and that's how you get anything really done in this life. You got to go for it with everything you have. And what a great community, our community, right here." A great community that is going to be able to make a difference in this world. We got to all come together brick by brick.
Yeah. It was good to meet you. Have a great breakfast.
God bless you, man.
God bless. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
So Vicky Sanfilippo, and tell me what your team is and what you're working on. I understand you're working on a big project.
Well, I'm working on a big project, but my MO is that I'm the director of Road Guardians. We teach motorcyclists what to do at the scene of a crash until professional help arrives, and that's why I was inducted into the Motorcycle Hall of Fame in 2020. So that kind of led to more things, more involvement with the museum, and I ended up winning a 124 cubic inch S&S motor last year during the rally, and it's diamond cut, polished. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, well, what do I do with this? Because I have a few bikes and I love building bikes and love being creative. It felt like I should donate it back to the museum, but as a motorcycle, like a completed motorcycle. So I am working with the Sturgis Museum and many other people in the community to build a motorcycle around it that gives us a tribute to the past and our future. So it's called Project Guardians. And we're working with lots of the builders and parts people, many people who are helping us put Project Guardians together. We're going to raffle it next year.
Here at the Hall of Fame?
It's going to be raffled from February through Sturgis, and we're actually doing the raffle right after the Hall of Fame breakfast next year.
So where can they register?
They can follow along with us by going to roadguardians.org, click on Project Guardians, and you can watch on our YouTube channel, you can watch us on Facebook or Instagram, whatever your platform is. You can watch the build as we're doing it, and probably YouTube is our favorite because we do podcasts and updates, and we interview all the people that are part of this project. So yeah, come check out Project Guardians, go to roadguardians.org.
Nice to meet you. Have a wonderful breakfast.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you doing?
You look very familiar.
I do. Do I? So
Yes.
do you. What brings you here today?
Same reason that brings you here. Celebrate motorcycling and motorcycle culture in the Hall of Fame. You're Ari Levenbaum from Law Tigers, and tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the Hall of Fame.
So I came to this about 15 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, there's a place where industry leaders, people that are influential and part of our culture get together to celebrate motorcycling. We have got to be a part of this. So literally, after the event, I went and found who was in charge and said, what can I do, or what can we do as an organization, Law Tigers, to support this cause? We got in as a small sponsor. Over the years, we increased it, and then the past 5 or 6 years, we've been the title sponsor. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, and so for people that don't know, if you don't, we see the Tigers everywhere, and obviously we know the branding, right? But what you do is you help bikers find the representation, the legal representation that they need, pretty much with any situation that they're involved in.
Right. Anytime the unfortunate would happen, a motorcyclist was injured in a motorcycle accident, we connect them with a local attorney that's part of our organization, who focuses on motorcycle personal injury, and knows the nuances, knows the differences in terms of like motorcycle rights, the biases that we face, and also the injuries that are unique to motorcycle accidents, and how to get the compensation from the insurance companies on our behalf. But that's really, our core business. But really what I like to do and what we do is we like to be more lifestyle oriented. We want to support charities, events. I'm a rider. My team are all riders. So for me, I want to further motorcycle culture, further this motorcycle industry. So we're really on the same side, and we're partners with all these individuals. Because to me, that's why I'm here. My business is great, but the lifestyle and the friendships are what really drives me and my team.
Yeah, you mentioned the nuances and the biases and things like that, and I think sometimes people forget about that being a part of the. It's not necessarily the best part of it, but it is an actual part of what we do.
You mean in terms of the nuance between the motor? You mean in terms of motorcycling?
Well, just how nuanced things can be to try to help somebody, and there are still biases out there about people that ride motorcycles.
Yeah, there's bias amongst motorists, amongst the police, unfortunately at times, and because of that, you've got to overcome that. Even when it's not even the motorcyclist's fault, oftentimes witnesses will say, well, he was speeding, or the officer would say, the rider was speeding, and then we can show that they weren't. So you need an advocate. You need somebody that is part of the community, and obviously that's what we do. But then also can be there if the worst were to happen. And I tell people all the time, and I know I'm repeating myself when I say this, but we want to recommend that people get uninsured and underinsured motorists. It's UIM. Again, I can't say it enough. Without that insurance, you're limited in what we can do to help you. Protect yourself. You want to buy all the chrome, all the really nice stuff for your bike, the horsepower, the turbos, you name it, buy the insurance too. That's what's going to save your life or help us protect you if the unfortunate were to happen.
Well, listen, Ari, thank you so much for everything that you guys do, because you're a long-standing member of what I would consider our modern biker culture. So thank you.
That. And I'm also proud to be part of this board. I encourage people to visit the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum, go to the website, make even a small contribution, whatever you can afford, because every little bit counts to further our culture, to preserve the history of motorcycling. And this is what this day today is about, is recognizing those people and allowing us to continue to do what we do, preserving our rights, making sure that people can ride for many, many years to come.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
My pleasure. Thanks, Chase. Appreciate it.
I'm well. How are you, sir? Come on up.
Good, feeling good.
Who do we have here?
I'm Mike Anthony Jones, and I've been riding with Dave Zine for a long time. I've seen some mayhem and some hell raising by this guy, but he's one of the best men I ever met in my life. And we're out here getting some footage for a documentary that I wanted to do on his life, and he really deserves it. He's really been amazing to the community, and he's done some amazing riding feats, and we're documenting that right now.
Well, thank you for bringing him out. Hey, did you ever think that just riding around with your buddies and racking miles up on motorcycles and breaking parts would lead to this?
Every year it leads to this, and every year it's an inspiration for us to tell other people about it and to let people know that there's indeed a function like this. And at the museum, there's a motorcycle that made 1 million miles on one machine, the only one in history that we know of. And the first one, absolutely, there's a Goldwing rider that claims he's got 1 million. Anyway, I have close to 3.1 million miles. Harley-Davidson dealers, and we've asked corporate, but they haven't answered us yet. No one in history or now has more miles on a Harley-Davidson, nor more miles on a motorcycle. So it's due to the Lord has his hand on, I say that the Lord has his hand on every single person here, every biker here. That there's a force, there's the Holy Spirit that guides them, that protects them. So we got the Hall of Fame is one of the premier places that says that says it, sight, sound, taste, and smell. And every one of these people are committed to doing that. And this meal is just beyond reality.
I was going to say, you just said sight, sound, smell. I can smell the breakfast coming from that other room. I'm getting hungry.
And then by my 1 million mile bike, I had my boots. So if people really wanted to smell, they could smell my boots. And then I used to have a sign on there that says, all the bikes got, please do not touch. I had on my bike, please touch gently.
There we go.
1 million miles. And then Harley-Davidson gave me a 2009 Road Glide because of that achievement. And anyways, the first year I had 141,000. Now, did you meet, let me see, Cornell, the person that did 146,000 miles?
Not yet today.
Okay, I'll bring him over here. You got to meet. He's did it on an Indian, but he's 146,000 miles in 146 days. I had the world record, 141,000 in 12 months, but he did it in 12 days, 146 days. Okay.
That's a lot of riding and a lot of tires. Well, enjoy your breakfast. Thank you for stopping by this morning. Yes.
Here's a card that explains.
Thank you very much.
And then everywhere I go, I give these stones. They're Apache tears, a miraculous healing mystery solved for people that pray. But the people always, the stone will pick you. And I give these everywhere I go. So.
Well, thank you for the gift.
God bless you. Okay, thank you much. Thank you.
Jason.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Jason, I'm good. How about you? Here we are.
Yeah, I'm here. It's the 25th induction ceremony here at the Sturgis Hall of Fame, and you're a resident around here year-round, so tell us a little bit about the museum, that's something that maybe people don't know if they haven't been there yet.
Well, just that it's been going on for so many years, of course, right? And it moved a couple times. It moved one time in Sturgis. It used to be on Main Street, down farther, about 4 blocks, and then Bob Illingsworth helped save it. and moved it down then into the old post office, right? So I was on the board for a while back in the day. So yeah, it was fun.
So we're members of the Hamsters USA, and one of our initiatives is to make sure that the Motorcycle Hall of Fame has some financial support and things like that. Just so that everybody knows, that relies completely on donations, does it not?
Yeah. As far as I know, yes, absolutely correct. Yep.
And it's also got a rotating stock of different motorcycles through period stuff, right?
Yeah, they really do a great job, and of course the board members in the last, I'll say, maybe 5 years or more, have really done a good job getting different bikes. They're really connected people that are on the board. They know who to call. They know what's important. So it's really stepped the game up in the last 5 or 10 years.
It's kind of like the Smithsonian where you have these rotating things, and so there's a reason to go. What I'm getting to is there's actually a reason to go more than once. It's not something you just go to one time and see it. It's not static. It gets new stuff all the time.
Oh man, I'd go every year. I mean, if I was coming here to visit, even living here, because they change it so much. But yeah, for sure, and it doesn't cost hardly anything. I don't remember what it is offhand, but it doesn't cost much to go into it. And you spend an hour, 2 hours in there, and you're downtown anyway.
Yeah, and when on a 90-degree day, I'm sure it's air conditioned, so it gives you a little bit of relief.
Well, absolutely, but more importantly, it's at the old post office, so there's so much historic value in just walking through the building itself and the way they have it decorated and all the displays set up. They do a really good job, for sure.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by and talking to me this morning. Enjoy your breakfast.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.
Have a good bike week. Randy. My man, Detroit Randy, how are you? Fellow Detroiter to Detroiter. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm good. 313 in the house. This is the place we're supposed to be, right?
Yes, sir. Hey, listen, you're a big legacy guy. You're involved in a lot of antique stuff and vintage stuff, right? So you're kind of a historian when it comes to that stuff. What does something like this mean to you?
It is a place, the singular day where the most luminaries will gather, right? The motorcycle luminaries. You have to understand that there's no other time like this day when the Hall of Fame induction where those have changed the industry are right here. So as a historian and ambassador, this is it. I mean, something like this. I mean, we're at Sturgis 400,000 or 500,000, but the breakfast, to see the folks who've shaping and changed the industry right here, yeah, to be among them lets me see over the horizons because I'm standing on their shoulders. Absolutely.
You always have so much prophetic wordsmithing. You make me feel like I need to go home and read a book again.
Listen, if I had to hold that microphone, I would be stumbling. You're doing great. I mean, the thing is, we live it. It just comes out of us.
Yeah, if you let it just kind of permeate from your soul and speak on it honestly, it's going to be there.
Absolutely, brother. Love what you all are doing.
Well, thank you for stopping by and talking to me. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I feel like I'm somebody now. Look here. All right. I appreciate you, man.
Have a great breakfast.
That's right. Rub out. I already put some titties on his chest.
Let's go on record, right? Folks, you have to understand. When you talk about legacy, when you talk about legacy and continuation, there's no kid standing on the street corner or looking at
Yep, they sure are. That's right. And we were all those same little kids.
Now we're going to be a 13-year-old on social media. All right, this is got me, Cole, don't smile. That's the one you show people since you got people. Okay. Yes, sir.
That's my book. I sent it to you. Yes, I have it. Thank you very much. Please read it. I will. Oh, you're very kind.
Good morning, sir. Jason
morning.
Hallman, Cycle
How are
Source
you,
Television.
Jason?
How are you?
I am fantastic. This is fantastic. Deadwood, the Hall of Fame breakfast. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is the 25th year of the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame breakfast induction. So, what does preserving legacy mean?
Well, motorcycling since its beginning has been a family of riders, and for us, our employees and our dealers, and I think the industry means so much to so many people around the world, and that it's got this continuing evolution of fun, and it's just amazing. People love it.
We appreciate the fact that you guys acknowledge us as just us miscreants here that gather once a year to kind of lend a stamp of officiality to it. So we appreciate you coming in.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, and I can't remember how many years I've been here and doing this, but it's been a long time. My first year out to Sturgis was 1984. Came out with my dad, Willie, and my mom, and it's been ever since. So I've seen a lot of changes, but all good changes.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for us.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Have a good
Thank you.
breakfast.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you, pal? You doing okay? Yeah. Good. You ready? Ready. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Come on over. Jason Hallman.
Nice to see you. Good to be with you.
I'm wonderful. I'm in my favorite place with my favorite people. You have quite a pet project going on in Wisconsin.
We're getting after it. But it's a joy to be a small part of it, and this has been a great week for us. So
I think that's minimalizing a little bit, but just because we're all looking to you to see where we're going to take it, and there's just so much optimism around it, right? So when you look at our tiny little $1 billion industry, what's your biggest takeaway?
raw enthusiasm is probably the number one takeaway. And then I say this all the time in Milwaukee, the goodness inside motorcycling, and here in Sturgis, just the raw goodness that every place you go, people wanting to help each other out. And I saw it at Hamster's dinner the other night. And I mean, it's just goodness and enthusiasm sells. You know, it's those are two good things if you're working on a brand.
So does putting boots on the ground. I mean, you're here representing obviously Harley Davidson, but I feel like you're kind of representing everybody here and everybody in Sturgis. Do you have broad enough shoulders for that?
I don't. We're just trying to shine a light on all the great people out here, great people who ride, and you know, as I said, I get that I'm a big part of it and we're a big part of it, but it's shining a light on all these riders and folks like yourself that it makes it so worthwhile.
I appreciate you stopping to talk to us. As somebody who's been a journalist in this industry for almost 20 years, it means a ton. This is the first time I've met a CEO of Harley Davidson, so thank you very much for coming and seeing us.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right, have a great breakfast.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
See you inside.
Come on over here, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We got to look at the camera right there.
Oh, there's a camera.
You have a book. You have a book in your hand.
I have a book in my hand. Yeah, A Harley Life. It's my book, man.
What is a Harley life?
A Harley Life is a life for me, patriotism, for saying there's better bikes out there. There's this one, that one, but there's no other bike that's American. It's American made. That has the history, the resilience to survive through I rode 1950s and 1967 when I traded in my BS8 for a Harley. I said, it may not be quite as whatever, but it's more of what I want. And never look back. It's an American thing. You know, we've struggled as a country and tried to keep up, and we've had our issues and problems, persevered. I'm a Vietnam vet, went through it all. And like Harley's going through it today is what prompted me to sit down and write the book. People calling this brand names because of policies that none of us agree with. But people need to understand what this company's gone through, what it represents. And that's why I wrote the book. Company's been surviving because of not the Vietnam vets, but the veterans that came back from World War II and said, we want to ride together and have that camaraderie and the excitement and everything, but we also want to ride American. And every club that I've ever known has in their contract, you're going to ride an American motorcycle. And the only one around after 1953 is Harley. So, and when we came back from Vietnam and we formed Rolling Thunder and hundreds of thousands of bikes every year, that noise, that thunder from this motorcycle is what got them to say, yeah, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe there are POWs still over there. Maybe we have to account for the missing in action from World War II and Korea.
So tell me a little bit more about your book, though.
That's what the book's about.
Okay.
That's what the book's about. And that's what Harley-Davidson motorcycles are about. It's about patriotism, riding American, about this motorcycle coming into being state-of-the-art, and us sticking with it when it wasn't, and now we're going to stick with it as they come back.
Well, I couldn't end with anything better than that.
Yeah, neither could I.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
A Harley Life.
A Harley Life by New York Mike with a Y. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good breakfast.
Thanks.
All right. How are you, ma'am?
I'm so good to be
Blessed
here.
and highly favored, right?
Listen, beyond. Very grateful to be here.
So is this your first breakfast? Do you come here every year?
No, sir. This is probably my fourth, but this is the first time that I'm here because of inducting Bessie Stringfield. And I brought a whole sisterhood of women with me, along with the person why the world knows about Bessie Stringfield, the author of the book. I brought her along too. You got to allow me, I guess after a couple of questions, allow me to bring them on screen with me.
Well, so I know who Bessie Stringfield is.
Yes.
Right. So why don't you tell me real quick again for people who don't know.
Bessie Stringfield is a trailblazer, an icon. She is the reason I ride today. She did 48 states about 8 times in the 30s and 40s for the U.S. Army.
That's what I wanted to get to, because it wasn't last week, it wasn't 20
sir.
years ago. It was
30s and 40s.
A very different time in our nation's history.
She would have to have a helmet, her goggles, her face mask, her gloves. You couldn't know if she's male or female, black or white, because if she was caught, if she lose her bike, she's lucky if that's all would happen, So to fight all those battles and go through that and still had 27 Harley Davidsons.
That's more than I've had so far.
Yeah, that's more than I have.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna just say thank you very much.
Can I bring some sisters with me to show you?
Yes, absolutely. Bring them through.
This is how big her, just a small portion, ladies, sisters. This is the sisterhood ride to Sturgis.
Come on in, get in here.
In honor of Bessie Stringfield.
Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Y'all got to introduce yourselves,
And who are you?
I'm Along Came a Spider from North Carolina, the Blue Ridge.
Kimber the Lioness from Central Florida.
Athena Chicky Vagabond Chopper, Daytona, Florida now.
Jordan, she's shifting gears, Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina.
Ivy the Squirrel from Buffalo, New York.
Come on over here, Ann. Come on. She got a bag. This is the lady who's the author of Hear Me Roar, what introduced Bessie Stringfield to the world.
I was personal friends with Bessie in her golden years and was able to record her and capture her life story, and then I wrote about her. This 36 years ago, was when we were friends, and still working on her life story for a full-length book. And Chantel and I connected through her admiration for Bessie, and I have chills. It's just so awesome.
And what a great place to share it with, the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame, right?
And what I'm thrilled about is that Chantel is going to accept Bessie's Hall of Fame plaque on her behalf. She earned it. She has spread the word about Bessie all over the country. And I don't know if you know, she was in a catastrophic crash just 4 months ago. She was hit by a drunk driver. She shattered her pelvis,
Unstoppable, unbreakable.
But she rode here from Florida.
All right.
We got to get in and get some breakfast.
We'll have a great breakfast, and thank you for sharing your story with me. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
All right.
Come on.
Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. Here, I'll stand in the middle. Good morning. How are you, Zach? Corey? Christine? Yes, ma'am. So, a bit of your family's probably, if there was a Mount Rushmore of custom builders, I think that your dad would indefinitely be on there. What is the Motorcycle Hall of Fame and Museum? What does this gathering mean to your family?
Well, it's nice to share the legacy of custom motorcycling and just motorcycling. I mean, this event's been going on now for 86, is it? What is it? 86, yeah. No, it's great to see, and great to see a lot of industry friends and a nice get-together of our motorcycle friends throughout the country.
And your family's also in the bedrock of what we're doing, LaPera seats. I mean, obviously, everybody's had at least one under themselves. What does this mean for you as well?
I just think it's a great time to recognize all of the people in the industry. You know, we all work really hard, and it's been generations and generations of families building up this industry, and we're really happy to be here.
Zach, one question I've always wanted to ask you, and I'm glad I get to ask that question, is you've made a name for yourself completely autonomously, but what does it mean when you have like your third generation now? So what is your responsibility?
Responsibility is just keep this thing going as best we can, and while respecting the past, and then moving to the future and keep adjusting and modifying so we keep this great thing that we have going. And with the Achievement Award being named under my grandpa, and my father being in it, and it's just an honor to be here and be a part of this cool world.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by and talking to me. I appreciate it, Corey. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And Christine, thank you so much. Yeah, man. And we're going to meet you inside of the breakfast. Thank you for watching along. From Cycle Source Television, I'm Jason Hallman.
Ladies and gentlemen, please find. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats. The program will begin in 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 25th anniversary of the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and the Hall of Fame. Would you please rise for the presentation of the colors of the United States of America and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please kindly take your seats as we begin our convocation presented by Arlo Ventry.
Thank you. Could everyone uncover? This microphone is just not quite right. First, Lord, we would like to ask that you open your arms for the brothers and sisters we lost at the rally this year. Welcome them into that house, not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Most holy and glorious Lord God, we ask thy blessing as we gather together today in both joyous celebration and somber remembrance. We thank you today, Lord, as we celebrate 25 years of reflection, education, and tribute to some of the more outstanding and contributing members of our beloved motorcycle community here at the Sturgis Hall of Fame. But it is with sorrow that we remember the events that happened that same year on September 11th, 2001. We lift to you in prayer all those who died in the Twin Towers, at the Pentagon, and at Flight 93. We entrust them all to your loving care. Console their families, friends, and all who mourn their loss. May the memory of that day be transformed into strength and positive resolution for this country, a country that celebrates 250 years of rich and prosperous history this year. Lord, we beseech thee to open our eyes that we may more fully enshrine within our hearts that heritage which is ours, the value of our liberties, and the glory of this great country that we reside in. Heavenly Father, giver of all good gifts and graces, we ask that you keep our first responders safe as they put themselves in harm's way for our safety, and watch over our military as they put their lives on the line for our freedoms. May liberty and justice prevail for all mankind. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
It started with grit, heart, and freedom. The belief that something meaningful is always just up the road. A lineage built on grease-stained hands. From land speed records to artistic customs to restored history to the wisdom on the road, there's a place, a heart, where chrome meets memory. Where a kid who marveled at engines and rebels before they could read becomes a legend in the Hall of Fame. Where strangers become family, not by blood, but by miles and tenacity. A place for those who challenged the beaten path and made their own highway. Bikers arrive with just their hearts and leather, and with something so much more. A piece of themselves found on a wall, etched in the metals of history, in a machine that meant everything. Because what we keep here isn't just history and machines. It's a legacy, heart, bravery, camaraderie, the need to leave your mark. 25 years of stories to tell, 25 years of wild, free spirit of motorcycling in one place. 25 years of honoring the ride and building the legacy with the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame.
"25 years ago, a small group of individuals shared a dream to preserve our history, to honor the ride, and build a legacy. 250 years ago, another group had a dream of their own, that a new nation built on grit and independence could endure. This year, that dream turns 250. That same spirit, freedom, the open road, the refusal to be told who you have to be, is the spirit that built the legacy we celebrate today. And 25 years ago, on 9/11, lest we never forget, another group tried to threaten that legacy. They believed that if they struck hard enough, they could break something in us that could never be rebuilt. They were wrong. Through it all, we still stand strong. 25 years later, that dream is still alive. Our history is long, it is rich, and it is worth preserving. And none of this happens on its own. Dedicated individuals have given their time, their talent, and their passion through donations, volunteering, and board service. We owe you our gratitude, and we are just as grateful for the board that serves us today. So, please welcome our Vice President of the Board, Irv Stoney Stone.
Welcome, everyone. Look at this. Is this not awesome? The great support that we have for the museum and also for motorcycling in general. So all the hamsters out there, salute. To everyone else that is a rider and loves this country and loves motorcycling, we thank you for all being here today. I wanted to remind you of a few things. On your tables, you'll see a golden envelope. And in that envelope, there's 25 tickets scattered around. It's the golden ticket.
Yeah, there's 750 of you out there, and there are 25 of you that have a golden ticket.
And with that, you get, if you happen to open it and you get one of those, it's a plaque.
It's a tin.
It's a tin.
It's a special edition tin from Daniel James that you can come get at the museum.
So open it up and look, and then who do you see to collect that?
Come to the museum.
Come to the museum to pick it up. And then also in there, you'll notice there's a donation deal. If you are so inclined, you can either donate with the little deal in there, or there's a glass jar back here in the center. Put some money in there for us, because without all of you, the museum and all of this wouldn't happen. Also, don't forget that there's the all class for all of the Hall of Fame people that are out there. Meet and greet tomorrow between 9 and 11. If you wanted to come meet everybody and talk to the current and the older Hall of Fame inductees, show up to the museum for that. And also, with that, I think I'm going to keep it very short. And I would like to introduce our mayor of Sturgis, Ron Bradley.
Okay, Jess. So, I've been adjusting a lot of mics this week, so bear with me here. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame breakfast. On behalf of the city of Sturgis, it is my pleasure as mayor to welcome you to one of the rally's most meaningful traditions. You know, growing up in Sturgis, I've had the chance to experience Sturgis from a lot of different angles. From a wide-eyed kid taking in all the sights, motorcycles, of course, right? To a downtown business owner, being able to truly understand the financial impact that the rally has on this area and South Dakota in general. You know, the rally's truly a big deal in a lot of different ways. But the first year as mayor here has been quite an experience for me. It's a whole different way to look at the rally, and I haven't had a lot of time this week, but the time I have had to reflect has truly been meaningful to me. You know, trying to figure out what makes this rally as special as it is, and there's a lot of different factors. I always say it takes all of us. And it truly does. We can't have the rally we have without all of us. And this crowd today is truly in bringing all the people in the industry into one place, you know, truly brings that all together for me. And so as I've reflected this week, and maybe I didn't appreciate this as much as I should have or have ever have before, but truly getting an understanding of all that the museum does for this rally and for Sturgis. It's truly a pillar of Sturgis. It's got a location that's a cornerstone of Sturgis, and everything they do is top notch. Walking around the museum on Friday, you know, when I was growing up, that was the post office, right? And seeing the transition from that to everything they have in there now is truly remarkable and rewarding, from a hometown guy that really appreciates everything that goes into the rally. But one of the things and the connection between Sturgis and the museum is strong. And like I've been telling Heidi all week, we'll help you any way we can. But one of the ways they truly helped us this year, that's been special for me, is introducing us to Tim Duffy and allowing him or getting him to be the Grand Marshal. That's been the time I've spent with Tim this week is really epitomized what we should have in a Grand Marshal. It's been rewarding for me, and I cherish the time I've been able to spend with Tim and how that really intertwines with the rally, and it's meaningful to have him. So that's been special for me. So I want to thank everything for coming today. I want to thank Heidi and the museum board for all that they do, and I want to welcome you all to the Hall of Fame breakfast.
I need my partner.
Well, normally you just yell at me and say, get
up here.
How are you, my love?
Good.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all? Come on. Good morning, everybody. How are you all? You know what's so incredible about this, Heidi? You look around this room and, you know, motorcyclists, especially American V-twin people, they're probably the most misunderstood people in America, if not the world. And then you look around here, and it doesn't matter if you're a Hall of Fame inductee, a former Hall of Fame inductee, or just somebody who's here supporting it. We're here with one mind, and that is to share love, motorcycles. We assist people on the side of the road. And you know what? You guys are the biggest, toughest, nastiest badasses who are the best at giving love I've ever seen. Thank you guys all. Give yourselves a hand. Now, the first thing we're going to do right now is bring up our sponsor, Ari Levenbaum, Law Tigers. Come on up, my brother. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Doing well? Good. Fix this here. This thing's a little crooked. I guess I'm just going to have to hold it. Here we go. Before I announce who will be receiving this year's Law Tigers Hall of Fame Hero Award, I'd like to take a minute to give a special shout out to both my fellow Sturgis Motorcycle and Museum Hall of Fame board members, as well as my hamster brothers. How y'all doing, hamsters? You doing well? Without their support, commitment, and generosity, we wouldn't have been able to raise $240,000 at the Monday night hamster breakfast, a hamster dinner rather. Between the numerous businesses and individuals who donated their products and services, and the hamsters, wives, and friends who bid on and were the winners of those items, this would have never been possible without you. Oh, and by the way, Nick Trask, the board wanted me to publicly thank you for bidding up the Paris paint helmet on my behalf, $2,000 more than I was going to originally pay. So thank you for doing that. I guess that's what friends are for, right? In all seriousness, I do want to thank Nick for his generous donations over the years. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I also want to thank the numerous individuals, many of whom are friends of mine here today, for donating money, products, services. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Thank you. Now, I've got one more unrelated subject to address, and I promise you I'll be very quick. For those of you who had the privilege of attending this incredible event for the past 4 years, or at least the past 4 years, you'll understand what I'm about to say. I'm happy to announce we have more oversized Law Tiger inflatables than any other year. The number was 16 just a few days ago. However, we abruptly lost one when a motorcyclist ran into the middle of it one night and it was completely destroyed by firefighters and police. I kid you not. They had to actually untangle the motorcycle and cut up the Tiger. So I'm sad to say that now we only have 15 oversized Law Tigers inflatables remaining throughout the Black Hills. I wonder if anyone will notice. Jared Meese, is Jared here, by the way? Anywhere? Well, I figured he'd appreciate me sharing the story with everybody, given his past experience with our plethora of signs and inflatables. And if you were here that year, he did recognize our inflatables amongst other signs. Now, to why I'm up here today. One of the greatest privileges I have as the owner and CEO of Law Tigers is recognizing individuals and organizations that embody courage and selflessness and an unwavering commitment to serving others. This morning, our Hall of Fame Hero Award honors an organization whose mission reminds us that true heroes are often the ones who are never asked to be called on as heroes at all. Every day, firefighters answer a call that most of us never hope comes. They run toward danger while others run away. They enter burning buildings, respond to catastrophic accidents, stand on front lines of natural disasters, and put the lives of complete strangers ahead of their own. Most return to their families. Some never do. For those families, the sacrifice doesn't end when the sirens stop. It becomes a lifetime of remembrance. That is why America's Fallen Fighter Memorial exists. Founded by firefighters, for firefighters, the memorial was created to ensure that every firefighter who made the ultimate sacrifice is remembered with dignity and honor, regardless of whether they served as a career, volunteer, woodland, military, industrial, or union firefighter. Today, its wall of honor bears the name of thousands of fallen heroes from every state, creating one of the largest firefighter memorials in the Western United States. More importantly, it serves as a piece of healing for families, brothers and sisters in the fire service, and communities across the nation. But what makes this organization truly remarkable is that its mission doesn't stop at remembrance. The memorial service continues to support the living legacies of those who gave everything by assisting families, partnering with charitable organizations, and ensuring that the values these heroes live by continue to inspire future generations. Because honoring sacrifice isn't something that happens just once a year. It's a commitment that lasts forever. You all know the motorcycle community and the firefighting community share something deeply important. We understand brotherhood, we understand loyalty, and we understand that when one of us falls, none of us forget. This morning, as we gather during the Sturgis rally, surrounded by people who value freedom, service, and community, it's only fitting that we recognize an organization dedicated to preserving the stories of those who gave everything to servicing others. To everyone involved with the America's Fallen Firefighter Memorial, thank you. Thank you for preserving history. Thank you for honoring sacrifice. Thank you for ensuring that the names etched in stone continue to live on in the hearts of generations yet to come. It is with great respect and gratitude that Law Tigers proudly presents the 2026 Law Tigers Hall of Fame Hero Award to the America's Fallen Firefighter Memorial. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating this extraordinary organization and welcoming Mike Latham to the stage. Sorry, Rich King. Little mistake.
Oh, thank you. No problem. I really don't have to say much. I already said everything, man. It's great.
By the way, here's your check.
Oh my gosh. As I already said, my name's Rich King. I was a 43-year firefighter. I just retired last year. And Mike Latham and myself, we got together as he was a volunteer firefighter. I was a full-time firefighter. And this thing, whole thing started with motorcycles. We got together one day and started doing rides. And we had about 10 people. We go to fire stations, different things. And we started liking what we were doing. So we started doing 2 or 3 rides a year. And ironically, we called it the Fire Ride. And we started out with 10 people, and every year it kept building and building. We partnered with Harley about 15, 16 years ago in Salt Lake Harley, and it's grown. And now the Fire Ride is one of the largest rides in Utah. And the monies generated from that go to the memorial. And it's helped build the memorial. It's taken us 20 years because all the funds generated from that went just to the memorial. Ogden City donated the land for us. And people asked, why Ogden, Utah? Well, if you draw a circle on a map, it is the center point, hence the Golden Spike and the railroad of the Western United States. And it is the largest firefighter memorial this side of the Mississippi. I've been to Emmitsburg. I've been to a lot of different memorials across the country. And ours, because ours stands, it's the largest memorial of its kind. And it honors all walks of firefighting, full-time, part-time, volunteer, wildland, industrial, military. We honor those who've given the greatest sacrifice. And as has been stated a few times here, the riding community is what supports this more than anything. Our ride, our Fire Ride, which happens every year around Patriots Day, September 11th, is an escorted ride of 60 miles, police escorted from South Salt Lake, up to Ogden, Utah. It's pretty amazing to see thousands of bikes being escorted by hundreds of police officers because everybody loves firefighters, right? And but we have such a great brotherhood with them because we share so much with them. But it's such a great honor to be partnered up with Law Tigers and those who have helped us build this memorial and to establish a place for all those who have fallen. Unfortunately, I have 5 friends that are on that wall. And I always used to teach class to our young guys coming up that I never want to see them on that wall and to do things right. But unfortunately, we lose about 100 firefighters a year. And we wanted to build something to commemorate that, not commemorate, but we can remember them. And someplace that their families and their friends can go to honor them. And so we honor them every year. Law Tigers, Ari, thank you so much for this check and the recognition, and to everybody being inducted. Congratulations on everything you do. All I can say is please ride safe and continue the love. Thank you.
So if a vehicle changes lanes and I crash my motorcycle,
call Law Tigers.
What if my lady friend just left me?
Oh, that's terrible. Don't call Law Tigers.
and if I fracture my leg in a motorcycle accident,
Definitely call Law Tigers.
She left me for this tiger mascot.
That's even worse, but still, don't call Law Tigers.
He's even got abs.
Just let her go. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Thank you so much to Law Tigers for your sponsorship. You know what? We know you do more than just this. You write a great big check and everything like that. And at the end of the day, money is the necessary evil of keeping these things going. And that's why we have those golden cards and everything like that. Heidi, The things that happen in the Hall of Fame, for those of you who've never been here, some of the things that happen in the Hall of Fame are incredible. You're going to hear great stories. You're going to hear about people's passions. You're going to be able to hear about people helping kids, people helping veterans. We have everybody from movie stars to the backyard builder of 70 years, you know? And it's just overwhelming. This is, to me, the most nerve-wracking time of year. What do you think?
I think it's incredible to look out here and just see all these faces. You know, I've said it before, I want to say it again. Today feels like a normal day, but today will be history tomorrow. And that is what we do at the museum, is preserve the history that we're looking at right here.
And you know what? Let's just take a moment right now and say thank you to our director of the museum, Heidi Harrow, please. You're amazing. Hey, that voice at the beginning that talks to everybody.
That's my husband's voice.
That guy's balls dropped at like 5 years old. I mean, that's incredible. Can you imagine having a voice like that? But you know what? We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about a couple of great things right now. I got a little story to tell you. Remember Burt Monroe, the world's fastest Indian? Right? And then his granddaughter came here to get his Hall of Fame thing posthumously. And then Nick Trask took her out on a motorcycle ride because he says, oh, I can take you faster than your granddad did. And he took her out. Then she came back again. And I said, how fast was it? And she goes, eh. So I'm like, I got this. So I challenged Nick Trask again. And he took her back out on his motorcycle for a faster ride. Do we have that picture? Do we have that slide? Yeah, there they are right there coming down the canyon with Deadwood's finest. This is, so she jumps on, she is so happy. Look how happy this woman is. She's thrilled. So I said to Nick, oh, dude, how fast were you going? He goes, not that fast, you know, $120, $130. And I said, oh, you hit that straight stretch. And he goes, no. So anyway, Robin Monroe got a real taste of Sturgis last time she was there. Thank you, Nick, for being an incredible gentleman. There's also stuff you're never going to see again, or maybe you might see it again. Can we have my next slide, my one and only last slide, because this is beautiful. This is etched in my memory. Right here, the one and only Scott Jacobs. I believe, Scott, where are you, Scott? He won't put, oh, you are putting up your hand. You are and have always been a beautiful man. Look at this. So I'm going to tell, yeah, let's give it up, huh? Let's give it up. So I got to be honest with you. This thing was called like the Beefcake Barbecue. And this whole photo shoot and all this stuff. Scott, I want you to know, or I want the rest of you to know, we did a poll after he was inducted on this photo. And 98% of the women in here said they would hit that. 33% of the men said, eh. And 2 dudes, definitely. When I told Scott about the poll, he wanted to meet the 2% of the women who wouldn't. So, but anyway, you know what? Thank you guys so much for being here. The Hall of Fame is about so many great things. Right now, we're going to transition to a video celebrating a true American hero, a man who runs towards, not away. Can we run the video on Tim Duffy, please?
Guys like Tim, if you call them a hero, they would just go, I'm not a hero. I was just doing my job.
And he'll say that too. That's another one of his pieces. Is I was just doing my job.
I'm just so honored and humbled, and to think that I'm still here after losing so many men and legends and real heroes. You know, I'm just a lucky son of a.
Some images capture a moment in time. Others capture the very soul of a nation.
All of a sudden, there's this motorcycle coming down the street. This fireman wearing his bunker gear, and I just got one shot. That's it, and he went by me.
On September 11th, 2001, amid a tragedy that shook the world, one photograph emerged that defined the unbreakable spirit of the American hero and the tight-knit community of the open road.
Along with all the other heroes that are in the Sturgis Hall of Fame, Tim Duffy is a true American hero. He rode his Harley Davidson into the World Trade Centers on 9/11, and he saved people's lives. He had just gotten home. He turned around and rode back into the World Trade Centers with his fireman's outfit on. He goes in to the World Trade Centers, but he rides his motorcycle up into a 5-star hotel so it would be safe. And then Tim turned around and went into the World Trade Centers. He saved people's lives. Tim Duffy deserves to be in the Sturgis Hall of Fame.
The toxic exposure of that day eventually forced Tim into retirement from the FDNY. But a true hero never stops serving. Channeling his own experiences with the invisible wounds of service, Tim founded the nonprofit organization One Soldier, One Dog, One Team. This incredible initiative pairs veterans and first responders struggling with PTSD with rescued sheltered dogs. By saving the animal and healing the hero, Tim turned his personal battlefield into a sanctuary of recovery and mental health awareness.
Probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this dog and fly fishing and Tim Duffy, but and all the other great people, One Soldier, One Dog, One Team.
I've been blessed to do some amazing things in my life, and then I look at Tim Duffy and all the amazing things that he's done in his life. All of the service dogs that he's paired up with veterans and first responders, all the charity rides that he leads, raising money for veterans and first responders. Makes me kind of feel small. He is a hero.
And Tim he's a very humble guy, a very regular Joe, and he's got a big heart.
And to me, you know, as a daughter, I think everybody thinks their dad is a superhero and Superman, and I think he is a real life superhero and Superman. At the end of the day, you know, he's human.
Tim Duffy is the spirit of playing it forward. He was brought to national notoriety for riding his Harley Davidson motorcycle into the World Trade Centers on 9/11, but he took that and he played it forward. He has since then shows up at all these charity bike rides, and he, to the motorcycle riders in the community across the country, we know him to be a giving person, and he rides for our first responders, our veterans, and he rides for all the right reason. He is the spirit of playing it forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the recipient of the 2026 American Hero Award and our newest Sturgis Hall of Fame inductee, Tim Duffy.
Thank you all very much, and thank you for being here. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife, Lisa, and my family for all the support that they've given me through the bumpy road that I've had from 9/11 on. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. I'm just so grateful and thankful to have my wife and my kids in my life. And it's such an honor to be in this room and to have my name in the same sentence as Robert Patrick, Indian Larry, Perowitz, Jesse James, Dupree. It's such an honor. And I'm just such a lucky and blessed man to be able to do what I do and to represent and accept this in the name of all my brothers that didn't survive that morning. I lost a couple of dozen friends in the first hour, but I was taught between boot camp and the fire academy to learn how to embrace the suck, and I seem to get pretty good at it. After the job put me out medically, I felt the need to stay in the game. And I wound up traveling in the country for the Tunnel to Towers organization. The man that that's for, Stevie Siller, and I went to Proby School together and went to our first firehouse together. And we became pretty close. And he would drive up to my house with his Suburban with his 5 kids and my 4 kids, and we'd all head to the beach for a concert. And we kind of looked like gypsies with 9 children running all around. But he was one of the most badass firemen I ever worked with. He was the epitome of a fireman. And one time I came home from a Tunnel to Towers trip, and a friend asked me to help a wounded veteran with a dog. I was kind of known for being a dog guy. At the time, I had a dog and was doing therapy work at the hospital with the children and the sick people. And my buddy asked me to help this wounded vet out. And so I got him a dog and helped him along with his dog. And one of the most rewarding days of my life when his mother hugged me and whispered in my ear, "Thank you." My son hasn't smiled in 3 years. And that right there, it kind of just put a lot more gas in my tank for me to do what I do. And so I'm just so fortunate to be able to save dogs and soldiers at the same time by pairing them up. And to me, it's just an absolute honor to be here with this community, because out of all the communities that I do deal with, the biker community is so far ahead of everybody else with their generosity and their offer of help in any way, shape, or form that they can give it. And I wouldn't be here today doing what I do if it wasn't for this community. I am so proud just to be part of this community. It really has kept me with that brotherhood feeling that I had when I was serving 2 years at sea on a small frigate, to when I went to my firehouse. And I didn't have to leave that all behind, because now I have it here with all you people. And I just want to give a personal shout out and a thank you to Jesse James Dupree, because he was on the phone with my wife before I even woke up out of my coma when he heard what happened to me. And I'm just so lucky to have people like him in my life. And I really consider myself a blessed man. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that came here today to support this community and to keep it going. You people deserve a round of applause for yourselves. So thank you all very, very much for having me here, and I'm just so honored to accept it. In honor of all the firefighters and first responders and military that gave up their lives for us and our country. So thank you very, very much.
We're going to take you bring them down.
My brother, thank you so much.
Whoa.
25 years ago, September the 11th, New York City firefighter Tim Duffy puts on his fire gear, he gets on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle, and he rushes to the scene of 9/11. He gets there, he rides his Harley-Davidson motorcycle up into the lobby of a 5-star hotel, props it up against the desk, and heads toward the door to go and save individuals and do the right thing as a New York City firefighter. He looks back one last time thinking this may be the last time I see my Harley-Davidson motorcycle. One of the security guards evacuating people grabs the velour curtains, jerks them down from the hotel lobby, throws over Tim's bike. Tim thinks, well, maybe the bike will be okay. He didn't know if he would be, and he wasn't. While he was out saving individuals, he got buried in the North Tower. Luckily, Tim was saved, and luckily the bike was saved. And the years after, Tim has raised thousands and thousands of dollars for first responders and veterans and his own charity that he created, One Soldier, One Dog, him and all of his teammates, they provide service animals for the ones in need. When we found out that Tim's bike had been destroyed, a horrific fire and just damaged, the Harley-Davidson Motor Company didn't even blink an eye. They stepped up and they said, hey, can we get a hold of that bike? So we were able to get it to Old School Harley-Davidson. And Old School Harley-Davidson wrapped around that. Tim's buddies and brothers from One Soldier, One Dog, they brought the bike down and that bike was rebuilt. And I was so proud of the Harley-Davidson Motor Company for doing what they always do in supporting not only first responders and veterans, but the people that support the veterans and first responders, and a New York City firefighter, Tim Duffy. So proud of the Harley-Davidson Motor Company, so proud of the city of Sturgis for recognizing this individual. He's an American treasure. He's an American hero. He deserves to be in the Sturgis Hall of Fame. And I'm so proud. I'm a better person for knowing him, Mr. Tim Duffy. Welcome to the Sturgis Hall of Fame.
I had the privilege of spending a whole day with Tim Duffy, and it was amazing. So he has such great stories. For those of you who haven't seen it, his bike is here, and it's outside, so make sure you see it.
That was breathtaking. I told you, this is a special place. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you all for bringing Tim Duffy up here today. One more time, Tim Duffy, ladies and gentlemen. We have the honor of presenting another freedom fighter this year. Shall we roll that video? Let's do it.
Number one, he's probably one of the best citizen lobbyists when it comes to motorcyclist rights I've ever met.
He established himself early on as a standout in the motorcyclist rights community. He's a big guy with an even bigger work ethic. And he's one of these guys that crosses all the T's and dots the I's.
Long before he ever walked the halls of Congress, Dave Dwyer was a rider looking at the changing landscape. In the 1980s, flipping through the legislative brown pages of Easy Riders magazine, he realized something critical.
I realized there was somebody out there trying to take something away that I loved, and I wanted to stop them.
Dave made it official. He joined a bait of Wisconsin.
So I turned to my fairly new wife and said, you know, that's something I want to learn how to do. And she didn't know what she was getting into, but she said, well, then you better learn how to do it.
He simply wanted to learn. And what he ended up doing was rewriting the playbook for motorcyclist rights.
It was a lot of trial by fire. There was no classes you could take back then. The internet wasn't around.
He didn't just sign up for a membership.
Chairman of the legislative committee resigned. The executive director at the time, Gary Klinker, asked me if I'd be the chairman of the committee.
And Dave stepped up and said he thought he could do the job.
Well, maybe it has something in the bylaws where you have to be a member for 2 years before you can be an officer, and I wasn't.
Well, he was a pretty young guy then, but we all were at that time.
So I mentioned that to him. He said, well, that's okay. Just take it till I find somebody else.
He stepped in and started running with it.
And I'm pretty sure he never looked.
By 1991, Dave was appointed chairman of the legislative committee. This was an era of massive mandatory helmet law protests, where Wisconsin became famous for drawing up to 50,000 riders to the state capitol. From Madison, Wisconsin to Washington, D.C., Dave became a master strategist. He learned how to navigate the gridlock by building real, fact-based relationships. When federal blackmail clauses threatened state highway funding over helmet mandates, Dave and his allies fought back, culminating in the historic federal repeal in 1995. He proved that when bikers show up organized and prepared with facts, even the most powerful lobbies in America take notice.
And he always steps up when his expertise and his touch and knowledge and experience is needed. He jumps right back in and hits the ground running.
Dave held that legislative post for nearly 25 years. Today, Dave has stepped back into a well-deserved retirement.
You're not going to realize how many hours you're putting into it until you retire from it and wonder where all this free time came from.
But his footprint on the pavement remains forever. Because of Dave Dwyer, millions of riders across Wisconsin and the United States ride with more freedom today than they did 30 years ago.
And everybody in Wisconsin is real proud of him because we all owe him a real debt of gratitude for the work he's done over the years. And we're all real proud of him.
Dave, we honor you here today as you take your rightful place in the Sturgis Motorcycle Freedom Fighters Hall of Fame. Well done, brother. Congratulations.
For his unwavering dedication, fierce defense of our lifestyle, and a lifetime of grassroots leadership, the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum is proud to honor Dave Dwyer with the 2026 Freedom Fighter Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring up Dave Dwyer. Smile, Dave. You're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. No fights today. No arguments today.
Yeah. I had to write this down, otherwise I'd lose it. Thank you. This is quite the honor. I didn't grow up riding motorcycles, but I was exposed to one at an early age. The house my folks owned, we had an apartment, and the couple that lived in there had a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. It was a beautiful machine that exuded power and glory, and it captivated a 5-year-old boy. It made a lasting impression on me. Fast forward to my high school days and getting a driver's license. My friends started getting motorcycles, 250, 350cc. I found a 125 Harley Rapido that a racer was selling. It was bored 60 over. I could get 80 miles an hour out of that thing if I laid flat on the tank. It was the fastest thing on the snowmobile trails in the winter, as long as I stayed on the packed trail. Sadly, I let that bike go. And in 1980, I bought a 500 Triumph Twin. Followed that up with a 77 Honda 750. I ordered a brand new Harley-Davidson FXRT in 1985. Looking at the style now, I think I was way ahead of the curve on that one. The bike took me all over the country. Having a Harley got me reading Easy Rider magazine. I was fascinated with the brown pages, looking at what was going on legislatively in Washington, D.C. and in the States. While I missed the 50,000 biker protest rides in the 70s, I was there for the rides in the late 80s and the 90s. I recognized there were some politicians who wanted to take something away from me that I loved, my freedom and my motorcycle. In January of 1990, I attended my first A-Beta Wisconsin meeting. Our state secretary was there asking for people to join the legislative committee. From reading Easy Riders, I thought that was something I'd be interested in doing. So I turned to my new wife and said, that's something I wanted to learn how to do. Her response, well, you better learn. Later that month, I was at my first legislative committee meeting. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. Later that year, the chairman of the legislative committee resigned. Gary Klinker appointed me to fill that job. And I held that job through 5 more executive directors being reappointed by all of them. I made it to Washington, D.C. every year to lobby in our nation's capital with the lobbyists from the Motorcycle Riders Foundation and made numerous trips to Madison. In 2003, I was invited to join the board of directors of the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, representing the state motorcyclist rights organizations. 2003 was also when the EPA was redoing their motorcycle emissions rules. And with interviewing the people that were writing the rules and doing some research, I was able to put together a paper explaining how that was going to affect the aftermarket and the custom builders. EPA for the Layman was first published in American Iron Magazine's May 2005 issue. Armed with that information, Brett Smith from S&S Cycle invited Hardtail and I to the V-Twin show in Cincinnati. The first year, they didn't pay much attention to us. The second year was a lot different. They paid more attention to us. The third year, they were seeking us out. Then the market crashed. But our work protecting the aftermarket didn't stop. To this day, we're continuing with the MRF, Independent Motorcycle Aftermarket Council. In closing, I want to thank all that sent nomination letters for me. The Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame, Gary Klinker for seeing some potential in me, members of A-Beta Wisconsin for supporting my efforts over the years, the leaders of the state motorcyclist rights organizations that kept re-electing me to the MRF Board of Directors. A special thank you to a brother I've ridden thousands of miles alongside that had the patience and offered the guidance to help me grow into becoming an effective leader. Thank you, Hardtail. And most of all, to my wonderful wife, Sue. Without her love and support for the last 40 years, none of this would have been possible.
Remarkable. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when you have these people, our freedom fighters that are going out there and doing that every day, they're not getting big paychecks. You got to remember that. These guys are doing it because they care. They care about their rights, but more important, they care about our rights. One more time, Dave Dwyer.
Memorial video. You guys probably all heard that video.
She just cued me. Memorial video. She forgot I have an invisible mic right here. Let's go ahead and roll our memorial video. Oh, The Kickstands Down Award, or awards, is always a very special thing for me. There's so many great people I never had the opportunity to meet, but I read about them, I saw them on TV, I heard their stories, and it lets me allow to be a little part of it. Let's go ahead while our acceptance people come over to my right here. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
Our first inductee took the guesswork out of horsepower and traded it for pure, high-performance mathematics. If you ever cracked open a primary cover to hop up a Harley-Davidson, you've likely held the handiwork of John Andrews in your grease-covered palms. In 1972, John was just an enthusiast trying to squeeze more power out of his own shovelhead. That curiosity sparked an engineering empire. As the founder of Andrews Products, Inc., John revolutionized motorcycle performance for over half a century. He traded backyard guesswork for advanced computer-aided design, developing specialized CAM software that became the gold standard for the V-twin upgrades. John didn't just build hardware, he mentored the next generation of engine designers. He passed away in 2023, but every time a rider twists the throttle and feels that extra surge of power, John Andrews' spirit is right there, enjoying the ride. And while John Andrews mastered the mathematics of the modern engine, our next inductee was the ultimate encyclopedia for the great vintage iron of the past. Dave Huggy Bear Hansen was the patron saint of grease and gears. For over 50 years, Dave operated The Shop in Ventura, California, serving as the go-to expert on vintage Indian and Harley history. Dave wasn't just a mechanic, he was a master restorer, a land speed racer at the Bonneville Salt Flats, and a world-class judge at elite antique shows. His expertise was so undeniable, it took him all the way to Hollywood, where he lent his knowledge to the film The World's Fastest Indian. But it was his immense generosity, his mentorship of young mechanics, and his warm smile that earned him his affectionate nickname. Huggy Bear left us in 2023, but whenever an old flathead roars back to life in a quiet garage, Dave's passion hums right along with it. Dave Hansen kept history alive, and our next inductee took that classic iron, stripped it to the bone, and turned it into raw, high-performance art. Indian Larry was a legendary custom builder, metal sculptor, and motorcycle philosopher. He became a household name and a TV icon through his unforgettable winning appearances on the Discovery Channel's Biker Build-Off. Larry rejected modern fiberglass and fluff. He pioneered a movement that celebrated mechanical transparency, raw hot rod grit, and his famous no front brake philosophy. Masterpieces like Wild Child and Daddy-O showcased his technical brilliance, but it was his humble, authentic personality that captured the hearts of riders everywhere. Larry rode out of this world in 2004, but his influence remains the absolute North Star for custom builders who value craftsmanship over convenience. Indian Larry lived his life wide open, a fearless attitude shared by our next inductee, a woman who spent 7 decades outriding everyone else in the room. Mary McGee, known simply as the motorcycle pioneer, didn't just break the glass ceiling, she jumped a Husqvarna right through it. Mary started racing in 1957 and quickly made history as the very first American woman to earn an FIM road racing license. But she didn't stop on the asphalt. Mary took fearless riding to the dirt, competing in grueling motocross and off-road endurance events. Her most legendary feat? The 1975 Baja 500. She completed the brutal course entirely solo, crossing the finish line ahead of several two-man teams. For over 60 years, Mary was an inspiration, proving that racing is about the joy of the journey and the courage to start. She passed in 2024, leaving behind a high-speed roadmap for every woman to twist the throttle. Long before Mary McGee tore up the desert, another trailblazing woman was solo crossing the United States, rewriting the rules of what was possible. They called her the Motorcycle Queen of Miami, And based on her riding, that title covered a little of the riding world that she ruled. Bessie Stringfield shattered all types of barriers in her riding adventures. Taught to ride on a 1928 Indian Scout, Bessie completed 8 solo cross-country treks during the 1930s and 40s. Traveling alone as a woman of color in Jim Crow-era America wasn't just brave, it was revolutionary. It's said that Bessie used to toss a penny onto a map and simply ride wherever it landed. Her riding skills were so undeniable that during World War II, she served as a civilian courier for the U.S. Army, carrying military documents across the country on her Harley. Over her lifetime, she owned 27 Harleys and founded the Iron Horse Motorcycle Club. Bessie passed away in 1993, an enduring symbol of independence, adventure, and personal strength. Bessie Stringfield defined the independent rider, and our final inductees took that raw biker lifestyle and shared it with the entire world. The original Easy Riders captured the spirit of freedom that defined Sturgis and the Black Hills. Though they have passed on, their impact is the very foundation of modern custom motorcycle culture. If you want to know who turned the grease-smudged biker culture into a global phenomenon, look no further than Joe Teresi, Lou Kimsey, and Mill Blair, collectively known as the original Easy Riders. In 1970, this trio of visionaries founded Easy Riders magazine. Unapologetic, authentic, and fiercely independent, the magazine didn't just report on the culture, it built the stage for it. By showcasing the world's top custom builders, artists, and riders, they transformed the backyard chopper into a high art movement and made the builders, painters, and fabricators into celebrities. Landing a bike on the cover of Easy Riders became the ultimate sign that a builder had made it. John Andrews, Dave Hansen, Indian Larry, Mary McGee, Bessie Stringfield, and the original Easy Riders. 6 legendary names, forever a part of our history, and now officially enshrined in the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame.
Receiving the award for John Andrews is going to be Michael Peterson. Thank you. Thank you so much. Receiving the award for Indian Larry will be Bobby Seeger. Receiving the award for Dave Hansen, aka Huggy Bear, is going to be Kiwi Mike. Are you in the crowd? Oh, Kiwi Mike Thomas, everybody. Receiving the award for Mary McGee, American Lady Badass, is Ruth Belcher. Belcher. Come on, Ruth. Come on up. If you tell me here.
Ruth Belcher and Debbie Matthews.
Come on up, Debbie Matthews. Hi, welcome. Welcome. Come on over here. Bessie Springfield's recipient is going to be Chantel Williams. Chantel, come on up. Yeah. And receiving for our crew, the Easy Riders crew, is Ellen Teresi. Ellen, it's an honor. Thank you. Okay, we're going to jump right now to our Lifetime Achievement Award. But you know what? After the memorial, we do have some news. Charlie St. Clair. Charlie St. Clair's in the hospital right now. And, you know, we'll see. But he could certainly use everybody's prayers and good thoughts and good karma, as could everybody in two wheels or on two wheels around America. Come in here, going from Sturgis or going up, you know what, going to church on their motorcycle this week. Everybody could use our prayers. We could all use it. Let's take a moment of silence for Charlie St. Clair and everybody in our lives and our friends we don't know yet. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are going to do our Lifetime Achievement Award. Do you have any stripper music? Was that the Macarena? Fuck you. Sorry, am I allowed to say that? No. Oh, I've been doing this for 4 years. It's probably not going to happen again anyway. Screw it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? This very special jacket I have only worn for Grady Pfeiffer. And now I get to wear it for somebody that I fondly get to call Uncle. We're going to roll a video first for our Lifetime Achievement recipient, Dave Perowitz.
My boyfriend and I at the time decided to stop and meet the famous Dave Perowitz from Cycle Fab that we kept seeing in all the magazines.
Unlike a lot of people I'd go to, he'd have a line of bikes lined up for me to photograph for the magazines, and a line of tech toys. And all of those things, once they got into the magazine, promoted the whole industry for everybody, for all shops.
A self-taught mechanic and fabricator, Dave Perowitz entered the motorcycling world in 1967. What began as a passion for working on friends' machines quickly evolved into a global reputation and a nickname of the King of Flames.
He's an exquisite flame painter. I mean, he's just one of the was and is one of the very best. And his paint jobs are just phenomenal.
You know, he's a great painter, the best, King of Flames.
Yet, despite the worldwide acclaim, the television fame, and a legendary career, Dave's ultimate crowning achievement isn't a trophy or a magazine cover. If you ask the King of Flames what he is most proud of, his answer is immediate. His daughter, Jody, and her 200-mile-per-hour land speed record run.
But on top of that, he and Jody, he's got other people working at the shop, and he and Jody build bikes. They're both very, very tough, and they're very creative.
But yeah, when Jody got inducted, he said, "Bob, I'm not going to make it through the speech. Could you do it?" I said, "Absolutely."
In a historic moment that brought family, trust, and absolute performance together, Dave handpicked the team and built the machine that propelled Jody into the record books, shattering boundaries at over 200 miles per hour.
To be honest with you, they all laughed at us when we showed up at Bonneville, you know? It's like, what are these guys? These guys are custom bike guys. What do they know about racing? We had absolutely no experience racing whatsoever, me or Jody. And then Jody said, "Wouldn't it be cool if I could be the first woman in history to ever go over 200? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's a stretch. Well, the first year we went out there, she ran 201. At Bonneville, 200 is a really magic number. You know, nobody could believe it, you know? I mean, it was like, where did they come from?
Dave Perowitz has spent a lifetime showing us that you can build a masterpiece out of chrome and steel, but you build a legacy through family, generosity, and community. As a founding member of the Hamsters Motorcycle Club, Dave helped turn a passion for riding into a powerhouse for global good. Every August, right here in Sturgis, Dave leads the charge to raise critical support for local nonprofits and the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum itself. Early in his journey, Dave found a kindred spirit and mentor in custom motorcycle icon Arlen Ness. Arlen wasn't just a partner on numerous iconic projects. He was a lifelong friend who helped guide Dave through the rapid evolution of the industry.
I opened up my first store in 1975 with the help of Alan Ness. Alan and I became good friends, and he was my mentor. You know, we're all best of friends ever since then.
Today, that brotherhood comes full circle as the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum honors Dave with the prestigious award bearing his dear friend's name.
Dad, on the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's very well deserved, and I'm so proud of you.
Hi, Dad. Just want to say congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award. It's been a long time coming, and it's not really that surprising. But congratulations, I'm real proud of you. Go ahead, Rose.
Congratulations on your award. Grandpa, on your award. Bye. Hope to see you soon. Love you. Love you. Come on, get away.
Wow. That's great. We'd like to call up Miss 201 Jody Perowitz. Come on up here.
Jeez. All right, so, can you guys hear me?
Nope. We got a cold mic here.
Cold mic?
Let's see.
Am I hot? Yeah.
All right, we'll switch. We'll use this one now. All right, so I'm already going to apologize to this side of the room because I'm not going to look that way so I can get through this. Okay. So it is truly an honor to be standing here to present the Motorcycle Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award to someone who has dedicated more than 50 years of his life to motorcycles. Most of you know him as Dave Perowitz. A lot of you know him simply as DP. I'm lucky enough to know him as Dad. And when I started thinking about what I wanted to say today, I realized how difficult it is to sum up 50 years of building a legacy in just a few minutes. Especially when it comes to a career that's also been my life. For my dad, motorcycling has never been just a job or a business. It is who he is. More than 50 years ago, he started painting and customizing motorcycles long before the custom motorcycle industry became what it is today. He developed a style and became unmistakably his own. You could see a motorcycle and know that it was a Perowitz bike. But what I admire most is that he never stopped trying to be innovative. Style changed, motorcycle changed, and the industry changed, and my dad changed with it without ever losing style and identity that made his work his own, especially those infamous Perowitz flames that everybody loves. My brother, sister, and I had a very different childhood than most kids. Motorcycles were everywhere. Our whole lives revolved around two wheels. The shop was part of our home, customers were our friends, family vacations involved motorcycles. Growing up, I probably fully didn't understand how special that was until now. I had a front row seat to watch my dad build this legacy. I watched how hard he worked. I watched him take an idea in his head and turn it into something incredible. I watched him obsess over details that most people would never even notice. And I watched him build a name that became recognized throughout the motorcycle world. Not only is his work recognized, but he is also recognized as a mentor. When I was about 16, we had to shuffle some bikes from his house to the shop. One of the bikes was Brad Whitford from Aerosmith's full custom bike that we had just finished. And he said to me, "Jode, you're going to ride that bike." I said, "Dad, I've only ridden a Buell. Like, that's all. I can't ride this bike." He said, "Yes, you can. You're going to get on this bike and we're going to ride to the shop." And we did exactly that. And I did it on his confidence. There was no doubt in his mind that I could do that. And I still go by that confidence. Even out at the Bonneville Salt Flats, when we raced out there for 7 years, I never had doubt because he had such confidence in me. Not only has he done that with me, but I know he's inspired countless others to innovate and build their own dreams and legacies. He has inspired many young builders to think, I want to do that. He has customers who have become lifelong friends, and he has a passion that has turned into a lifelong career. He always says that when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Well, I can tell you my dad's never worked a day in his life. But he keeps showing up for work every day. He keeps creating, he keeps taking chances, he keeps inspiring others, and he keeps loving what he does. He has truly helped shape the custom motorcycle industry. There are many people who get to grow up watching their dad become a legend in the world they love. And there are even fewer who get the opportunity to stand on stage and honor him for that. Dad, your work is on motorcycles all over the world. Your influence is in painters and builders. Your stories are spread across more than 5 decades of motorcycle history. And your passion for motorcycles extends far beyond our shop and me. That is your legacy. And I couldn't be more proud to carry the Perowitz name. So today, Dad, sorry. So today, Dad, after more than 50 years of huffing paint, riding motorcycles, late nights at the shop, thousands of miles, rallies, shows, friendships, successes, and probably a few mistakes, and one hell of a ride, I can't think of anyone more deserving than a Lifetime Achievement Award. You spent your life making your mark on motorcycles, and I'm truly proud. Congratulations, Dad.
You know, I told my kids when they were little, I said the worst thing that could ever happen would have to get up every morning for the rest of your life and go to a job you hate. People ask me all the time, oh, when are you going to retire? I'll never retire. Why would I retire? I look forward to going to work every day. And it's all about motorcycles. My whole life is all about motorcycles. Thanks for all the people that have helped me through the years. And thanks to the museum.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. Dave, come up here. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Keep it going. I want him to see you. I'm sorry, but I saw you jumping off that stage. For once in my life, I see Perowitz a little bit nervous. That's kind of a good thing. You know, when David Ewell had me come and do some stuff with him, some projects with him, I went to Cincinnati V-Twin and a couple other things. It was really cool. It was really exciting. Nobody knew who I was. And the first guy before the show started, everywhere I went, who came, he introduced himself to me. He wanted to know who I was, and he befriended me, was Dave Perowitz. And I was absolutely blown away by the kindness, the generosity, and the humility of this man.
Am I on? Yeah, I want to say the same thing, because when I started 3.5 years ago and I didn't know anybody in this industry, he was one of the first people I met, and he just gave me a hug, and I had never met him before, so say the same thing.
He's a hugger. Absolutely. Oh, congratulations, Dave Perowitz and Perowitz family. Jody, that was beautiful. Thank you. Now we're going to induct somebody right now. Very cool guy. Very cool artist, Paul Langley. Let's roll the video.
I'd say Paul represents the spirit of motorcycling.
Paul is he's a get shit done kind of guy.
He represents innovation.
Every legendary journey in power sports starts with a spark.
When I was 12, my cousin put me on the back of his KH250 motorcycle. He put a helmet on me, like jacket and things like that, but he went so fast. He went over 100 miles an hour, which was fast back then, right? And that was it. I was hooked.
Paul took that obsession with speed and turned it into a science. Armed with a brilliant technical mind and a degree in education, he aced the mechanical world.
Paul is one of those guys who works behind the scenes at everything motorcycle. It's his passion, it's his hobby. You know, I'd say if he wasn't working in motorcycles, he'd just be riding motorcycles all the time.
Over the next 4 decades, Paul became the quiet force behind the motorcycling's biggest performance leaps.
He's done so much for the motorcycle industry. Everything from, you know, the dynos that people tune their bikes on, Paul's been engaged in, racing at the Isle of Man, creating tons of accessory parts, high performance parts at his time at SNS and now at Le Mans, you know, distributing those parts all over the world so that people that love their motorcycles can get the things they need. So he's kind of done it all.
His mission was clear: make it faster, make it better.
That's the start of building the most badass flat track motorcycle that ever lived.
But Paul's vision extended far beyond the garage. He translated his relentless competitive drive into global business savvy.
Everything is a competition to Paul. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be racing a motorcycle, which is where we met, or it could be drinking a beer, or it could be, you know, how fast you rode from this point to this point, or it could be who picked out the best hotel, it could be who ate the most ice cream. Doesn't matter. Everything he's doing, he's going to do it to win, and he's going to let you know when he won. But yeah, he's just got tremendous drive. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't sleep.
Despite his view from the top of the corporate ladder, Paul has never lost the heart of that 12-year-old kid looking for a thrill.
He always finds a way to laugh and make light of a situation, even when it's intense. He doesn't like vegetables. Don't let him on his plate.
He hates them. He hates them.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole thing that he doesn't eat vegetables. You know, we'll go out to eat and they'll set down a plate in front of him and he's told them no vegetables, and there'll be like a piece of parsley on there. And he'll nearly send the plate back because there's a piece of parsley on there. I would just say, if you ever see Paul Langley, offer to buy him an ice cream, because he will always take it, whether it's morning, noon, or night. Paul will eat ice cream and drink coffee.
The guy just lives off coffee and steak, you know what I mean? Like, he's not a vegetable guy one bit, you know what I mean? So he's a coffee connoisseur.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite stories about him. Just about that time we texted Paul and he immediately came over, because grilled cheese, beer, and vanilla ice cream are 3 of his favorite foods. You throw a piece of steak on there, as long as a vegetable hasn't touched it, he's good.
He isn't just a business leader. He's a rider, an enthusiast, and a fierce competitor who refuses to give up until the mission is complete.
Man, Paul, I had a great time with you racing motorcycles. We did build the best, baddest flat track motorcycle with the FTR 750. I'm very proud to know you. I've learned a lot from you, and I wish you all the best, and congratulations on being inducted in the Sturgis Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Paul Langley, on your induction into the Sturgis Hall of Fame. I can't imagine anyone who deserves it more than you. Just realize that in this contest, you came in second. I was inducted last year, so you lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Langley. Welcome. Congratulations.
Well, that was powerful and humbling. And thank you, Paul. Thank you, Gary. And especially thank you to Gerald Mace. But anyone that knows him well knows why I'm wondering when I'm going to get the invoice. But thank you. So when Tim Sutherland called me to inform me about today, I was surprised. And I began to reflect a little bit on Sturgis and on my journey in power sports and accomplishments, and took a lot of time to think about how special a place the Black Hills and Sturgis really are. And I think, if I recall correctly, the first year I came here was 1992. We'd sold a dyno to Custom Chrome. They'd put it in the back of their trailer, and they were running horsepower shootouts, and we came to support them. And here I am, a sport bike guy from England, whose annual pilgrimage was the RMNTT for work, for competition, and for leisure. And I turn up in Sturgis, and there's hundreds of thousands of Harley Davidson motorcycles with cup holders, with stereos and loud exhaust, okay? And I was just completely overwhelmed, and it was the biggest spectacle I ever experienced. And for the most part, I've missed a few years, but I've been coming back ever since. So it truly is just a fantastic event, and I hope to come here for the rest of my life. But then I also reflected on my career in power sports and realized that at heart, I'm an introvert, right? I'm not like Hall of Famers Alan Alvarez or Terry Lima. I really don't talk to many people. So I figured that many people in this room probably don't know my journey, in power sports. And so if you're interested, there's some cards on table 48 with a QR code, and anyone that's interested in my journey, go ahead and grab one. But in summary, since I emigrated from England to Bozeman, Montana in 1988, I've been living the American dream, living in an industry that I love and participate in, working worldwide with like-minded enthusiasts and achieving incredible goals for some of the best companies in the industry. So that's my story. But I really have to first and foremost thank the people that gave me the opportunities and the trust in me to do what I do. And I'll start with Jack O'Malley from Orient Express Racing, New York. Mark Dobeck and Mike Quackemeyer from DynoJet. Chris Berger from Supertrap Industries. Terry Vance and Byron Hines from Vance and Hines Motorsports, and then later Terry with Vance and Hines. Michael Bittner and George B. Smith Jr. for S&S Cycle. And in my current role at Le Mans Corporation, the late Fred Fox and Paula Fox. And, you know, Le Mans Corporation is a big ship, 1,500 employees, and it's really a challenge to walk in Fred Fox's footsteps. So thank you, Paula, for your continued support. I also need to thank my wife, Lori. She's here today. Thank you for the unconditional support, for all the moves across the country, the race weekends, the time zones, all my crazy ideas. Thank you. I love you. I'd like to thank my eldest son that's here today, Matt. Matt, I'm proud of the man, the father, and the businessman you've become. So thanks for being here. But everything I feel I've accomplished took teamwork. And so on my print version, I have a lot of people to thank. But there's a few standouts that I should call out today. And they would be Robert Volchek and Dan Harrigan from Dynajet Research. There'd be Tom Trobar, John Potts, Ryan Lewis, Ryan Leviers from Vance and Hines. There'd be Dean Young, Jeff Bailey, and George Sin from S&S Cycle. And then for my current role and for my table and leaders in their own right, thank you to Paul Devine. Thanks for the support that you give me and the time we've worked together. To Hans Lautem, the pillar of Parts Europe from day one. And to Hilton Beatty, that does so much for Le Mans Corporation. He's the best in the business. Thank you. And I'm running out of time here, but I'd like to thank two others. Tom Motzko. Tom was such a big help to me in all the companies I ran. And you know, I thought I was tight with Fred Fox. I had his home phone number, his direct dial, and I call him and ask him crazy things. But usually he'd say yes, but if he didn't say yes, then he'd just stay quiet. But then 2 hours later, I get the phone call from Tom. Hey, tell me how we come up with this number, or tell me how we're going to achieve that. So he was a great help. Thank you, Tom. And lastly, before I go, Don Empty. Don, I've known you a long time, but thank you for the work and effort you put into authoring the Fred Fox book and the story of Le Mans Corporation Unlimited. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Langley. Paul Langley, you don't eat vegetables?
Never.
I eat vegetables. Can you see a difference? Congratulations, brother. I have an idea. Heidi, for the rest of the inductees today have to speak with a British accent, right? It's just a little more panache. Let's see our video about Dennis Manning.
When you think Dennis Manning, you think Bonneville Salt Flats. Dennis has dedicated his life to the land speed record.
Oh, land speed racing, hands down. Yeah, he's the face of motorcycle land speed racing.
Most people see a motorcycle as a machine for the road. Dennis Manning sees a challenge to the laws of physics. For over 5 decades, this self-taught designer and land speed oracle has lived for one thing: being the fastest human on 2 wheels. To Dennis, a motorcycle isn't just a ride. It's a precision instrument built to pierce the wind.
Has a purpose, you know, he wants to have the fastest motorcycle in the world in his garage.
It started in a local motorcycle shop when Dennis was just 16. He wasn't there for a paycheck. He was there for a purpose.
I go down the hall, and there it was, the fastest motorcycle in the world at 230 miles an hour. And that was just my moment. That's when I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
From that second, Dennis became a master of the craft, machining, welding, and teaching himself the art of carbon fiber aerodynamics long before there were industry standards. The results speak for themselves.
Yeah. I've been going to Bonneville over 50 years. And 7 of the fastest 11 motorcycles of history have been mine.
This relentless drive earned him the respect of the industry's giants, leading to high-level collaborations with Harley-Davidson executives and a deep, decades-long partnership with S&S Cycle to provide the heart for his record-breaking machines.
coming. He worked on that Streamliner for many, many years. Dennis Manning has donated his life to land speed racing. Ever since I've known him, the first thing he would say is, Perowitz, we got to get you out on the salt flats. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Dennis Manning didn't follow the crowd or wait for a manual. He built his own chassis, his own engines, and his own path to glory.
Dennis is the most passionate motorcyclist that I know. And he spent his entire life doing it. You know, he started in a motorcycle shop when he was in high school and went on to build 7 Streamliners.
He's just a hard-working guy, and he's just persevered for years and years with that Streamliner, trying to go more. As fast as he went, he always wanted to go more.
Today, we honor the grit, the engineering genius, and the man who proved that with enough determination, there is no such thing as a speed limit.
No, I'm just very happy that I'm proud to be a member of the Hall of Fame myself, and I'm very proud of the fact that Dennis Manning is going into the Hall of Fame this year. You couldn't have a more dedicated motorcycle person.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2026 Hall of Fame inductee, Dennis Manning.
Now, receiving this award for Dennis Manning is going to be, oh, Dennis, you're here. Come on up. Dude, you're like
Hiding. We were looking for him. He was hiding right there.
How are you?
Old, fat, and confused.
Dude, be happy with it. You're so old, I thought you'd passed. It's good to see you, my friend.
I'm back. Oh, boy. Hard to follow all of this. But I'm going to be a little different. You've all heard of this guy that used to say the second half of a story. Well, this is the second half of Dennis Manning's story. In 1980, I was building another Streamliner. So what else is new? Smith, the original Smith at S&S, George said, Dennis, if you build another Streamliner, I want you to put one of my big V-twins in it. Perfect. So George goes and dies, and I call Marge, and I said, I need a motor. She said, great. But you have to include George Jr. He knows nothing about racing. I want you to teach him about nitro, about Bonneville, and about going fast. Okay. George Sr. was a piece of work. I really loved that guy. I wasn't prepared for Junior. So it became a combination of an attitude from the south of Chicago, lots of Marlboro cigarettes and scotch, and Northern California, box wine, tacos, and what George called funny cigarettes. At first it was tough, but in the end, we developed and built 2 world-class machines and captured numerous land speed records. But in the middle of it, I needed some help. I wasn't thinking about 2 motorbikes, I was thinking about 1, but now George insisted on another tramp. Okay, so I built the chassis and all that for that. And I needed money. Bob Enterprises was doing okay, but, Streamliners are expensive. So I called my old friend, Dick O'Brien at Harley Davidson. OB and I got to know each other in 1970 when we set the land speed record with Cal Rayburn. And ever since then, it was a phone conversation here and there. And I really liked the guy. He said, Dennis, no sponsorship from Harley Davidson. We're going through a very tricky time. In fact, I don't know if it's going to make it. So no sponsorship. But he said, I'd love to see these motorbikes you're building. And I'm going to be in San Jose, where I happened to live at the time. And I'd like to come by and see them. But there will be no sponsorship. Okay. So then the following Saturday, O'Brien shows up with a bunch of people from Harley, including the new president of Harley Davidson, Von Beals, and Mrs. Von Beals. It was all a very nice conversation. It was great. And on the way out the door, I asked Beals, if I have an idea that'll make you a whole bunch of money, will you share it? O'Brien turned crimson. He said, you son of a bitch, you didn't, I made a deal with you. I said, no. This is a business deal. Beals jumps in and says, I need a couple of good ideas right now. Well, I didn't have any non-disclosure agreements with me, but I said, how about a handshake? Beals says, I like that. So tell me what the idea is, Dennis. It was the Harley Owners Group. Beals loved it. And he was a very generous partner. I got a check once a month. He didn't like the idea that I was riding a BMW every day, so he gave me a new Harley FXRT. And there was a life insurance policy involved, which I have to talk to Mr. Steve about. It was a good thing, and I was very proud of doing it, because both he and Mr. Caruso, was his name, came to me and said, Dennis, it made a difference. It made a big difference. And Mr. Peels has done a very good job with it. Thank you. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Over the decades, Harley Davidson and the Davidson family has been involved in a lot of people's lives, not hundreds of lives, not thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives. You've helped make so many lives a little bit better and given us a little bit more freedom. Thank you, Harley Davidson. You saw that thing, right? That's going across the flats there, the streamliner. Nick, can you imagine the conversation? Right? Paul's like, Nick, I want to show you this. What do you see? Nick says, it's a vibrator with a shark's fin. Yeah, but Nick, this baby might do 400 miles an hour. Well, where do you put your feet? Well, you don't. We'll hold you up and let you go. The good news is I want you to ride it. No. I cannot believe, Paul, that you got someone in there with the courage to do something like that and change the world. Thank you so much. One more time. I'm sorry, Dennis. Hey, this dude's cool. This dude is cool. I think it's like, where's Paul Shadley? Mark Shadley. Mark, there, put up your hand. The older this guy gets, the tougher he gets. And it's kind of like our next guest right now. He really is, as a human being, he's so much different, so much cooler as he grows in life. We're going to watch a video right now on a good man named Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick is the kind of guy that you're a better person for knowing him. He's got a charitable heart. He rides hard, fast. He takes chances.
A very down-to-earth guy with a very special job.
Robert Patrick is that rare breed of Hollywood celebrity that uses his fame to connect with people and make a difference in lives.
To the rest of the world, he is a Hollywood icon, a man defined by grit, intensity, and raw authenticity on the silver screen. We know him as the unstoppable T-1000 or Sheriff McDowell. But before he was an actor, Robert Patrick was a kid from Marietta, Georgia, the oldest of 5 children born to a hard-working family. It was during these junior high years in Ohio where a simple black and white poster of Peter Fonda in a shop sparked a lifelong fascination with freedom, cool machines, and the open road.
And it's a neat thing to know. It all started because I threw my leg over a motorcycle and started riding. I had embraced the lifestyle, and it became such a part of who I was and my own personal identity that it seemed like the next logical step that I would want to join a community of other bikers that had the same sensibilities that I did, that I would grow from it. It would be an experience that would enrich me.
I met Robert Patrick in Sturgis, which is absolutely crazy considering that he and I were both born in Marietta, Georgia at the same hospital. Robert Patrick is the embodiment of ridership. I mean, he rides. He rides to Sturgis every year. He deserves to be in the Sturgis Hall of Fame, not only for coming to Sturgis, but he rides. He rides across the country, whether he's going to Washington, D.C. to support our veterans in the Ride to Remember at the Vietnam Wall, or whether he's riding to work, which means he rides from California to Georgia to film Tulsa King. He rides, he rides, he rides, and today he rides into the Sturgis Hall of Fame.
Family roots run deep in Robert's soul. Coming from a proud military family with ancestors dating back to the Revolutionary War, his greatest childhood hero was his grandfather, a towering Army lieutenant colonel. Though Robert never served in uniform, he turned his passion for riding into a way to give back. He has flown into combat zones with the USO, stood with families at taps, and ridden across America to honor the fallen. To him, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle is an extension of his patriotism.
He's authentic, honest, and we are so grateful to have a celebrity, to have a man of his character in our corner, honoring the living legacies of American service and sacrifice.
He's the kind of guy that people could look at and say, well, if he can do it, I'm certain I can do it.
Today, he is a caretaker of the legacy, a dealership co-owner, and a true ambassador of motorcycle culture. He doesn't just look at the data. He lives the pure, emotional connection of the ride.
Congratulations, Robert. You're in the Sturgis Hall of Fame. Pa-pow!
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Robert Patrick.
Pa-pow!
Wow, yeah, I was doing all right until I watched that video. Those are some very sweet people, very, very sweet. This is almost as daunting as standing across from Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll tell you that much. It's a formidable audience. Just reaching for my speech here real quick, folks. It is Peter Fonda. That was, I saw that poster of Peter Fonda. I was getting a Slurpee when I was about 12, 1970. Rode my bike, saw this poster of Peter Fonda in this head shop. I always was interested in that head shop because it smelled so good. I stuck my head in there and I looked, and there was this guy on this big old chopper. He had that iron cross, the black leather, the shades, and it was from the movie Wild Angels that was produced by Roger Corman. And made a big impact on me. I migrated to California after many other things that I thought I was going to do didn't work out, and I decided to take a stab at acting and give it a go and see if I couldn't get my way into Hollywood. And I eventually worked with the very same producer of the movie Wild Angels, Roger Corman, and I did my first film, which was a biker film called Warlords from Hell. That's right, Warlords from Hell. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's an epic. Very proud of it. I think my first close-up was something like, what did I say? Well, I can't cheat, Turk. You can't cheat, Turk. That was it. That was my big close-up. That's about as good as I did it then, too. But I had the good fortune of getting in a movie that was pretty big, that featured a fat boy. I had to ride a Kawasaki, but the other guy, he got to ride the fat boy. And after that, I did another film, and in that film, I got to ride a Harley Davidson. And my wife, she said, you look pretty good on that thing. You ought to get you one. So that was it. That was my opening. That was my opportunity. I called my buddy Bobby Krause. I said, I need a Harley Davidson. He got me a 82 shovel head. I think it was right after the AMF years. It had a kickstart, an electric start, and I'm here to confess, I never did try the kickstart. I have no idea if it worked, but the electric start did. And I needed some service on that bike, and I ended up going to Oliver Shoku. His Glendale Harley Davidson is adjacent to Hollywood, and it's very popular with all of us Hollywood people. And we went over there, and he did the service, and he invited me to do the love ride. I started doing the love ride. He invited me back. But the cool thing about doing the love ride was I met Peter fucking Fonda. And he was just as cool as he was in that photograph. I'll tell you that right now. The neat thing is Oliver gave me the opportunity. I've been riding with New York Mike all over the country, and every time I'd go into a Harley Davidson dealership, I'd say, someday I'm going to own one of these. And Oliver Shoku was the man that offered me the opportunity to be his partner, and I'm very proud of that. I did Harley Davidson of Santa Clarita, which is incidentally about 2.5 miles from where we shot the epic film, Warlords from Hell. That's my little story for you there, but it's worked out very well. I'm very, very humbled and very proud to be inducted into the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame. And when I do look around this room, I see the builders, the innovators, designers, and people who have dedicated their lives to this industry. And I am definitely not a builder, nor am I an innovator, nor am I a mechanic. I'm just a rider, and I'm a booze fighter, and that's all we do is ride. Well, occasionally take a drink every once in a while. I don't know if JB wants me to say that. I'm very proud to have my international president here, JB, and his Sergeant of Arms, Bling, who incidentally has a name, Chain Stanley. His real name is Chain Stanley. And I'm like, why the hell do you have a road named Bling? Your daddy was a biker. He gave you the first name Chain. Why didn't you just go with Chain? It's crazy. But riding around with New York Mike and riding across America with him and learning some of the tricks of the trade of riding. I don't know if you guys do this, but I learned this from Mike. This is one of the most valuable things I learned was when you go to a truck stop, when you go to a gas station, you go back to the coffee area. If you drink your coffee right there, you don't have to pay for it. It's one of the coolest things. I never knew that. If you feel really bold, you grab a donut. And apparently if you eat it there, you don't have to pay for it. I don't know, but I learned that. The other thing is always go to the right. Even if you got to go to the left, go to the right. All right. I found out the other day from a Harley executive, I'm what's known as a Harley Davidson evangelist. I like that. I like that very much. I like that moniker. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lifetime chasing horizons on a Harley Davidson. And I'd like to thank Bill and Karen Davidson and the entire Harley Davidson family for carrying forward a legacy that began when your family came to America, I believe from Scotland. And you came here and you built a motorcycle that became more than a machine. It became a symbol of freedom. Now, riding my Harley Davidson has given me the opportunity to demonstrate my love for this country. Every mile reminds me that the freedom we enjoy isn't free. It wasn't free. And I think about the men and women of our armed forces who sacrificed so much so the rest of us could live, ride, and dream in liberty. And I ride with them in my heart. To be recognized by the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame is an honor. I never imagined it, and I'll continue to represent this lifestyle with gratitude, humility, and respect for the road and for the people who make this community so special. Thank you for this incredible honor. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. God bless.
Oh my goodness. So, Robert, I want to say this. Thank you so much. You have a voice in stage and screen. You have a voice with the veterans, and you use that voice, my friend. You use that voice. You use your popularity to make other people's lives better. Thank you so much. Oh, hey, and expect a royalty check for about 6 cents, because I think about 600 people are going to download Warlords from Hell now. So you're going to get a royalty check, just a little blip in there, because you know everybody's going to pull that show up now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a remarkable opportunity to be able to do what I do right here, right now. And the reason is you never know where the next person is coming from. Right now is a perfect example. We're going to watch a video right now of Paul Smith.
There needs to be more people like Paul. That's for sure. Because he's down to earth and true blue American, you know? He probably likes apple pie.
Paul is a true biker. In addition, he's a patriot and a fine man. I'm just so proud to know him.
Every artist has a landscape that shapes them. For Paul Smith, that landscape was in Oklahoma, crawling out of the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. Long before he put pen to paper for the motorcycle industry, Paul's soul belonged to the road.
You know, Paul wants you to give him a ride, and he had a brand new Indian, and he took me for a spin, and it wasn't just around the block. It was about 15 minutes, and I was motorized.
When Harley-Davidson needed to find a designer who understood both graphic design and the soul of a motorcycle, Paul was the natural choice. In 1974, Paul walked into the Juneau Avenue offices, not in a corporate suit, but wearing his leather jacket.
Nobody in that building looked like a motorcycle. They didn't look like what a motorcycle looked like.
ready to be a contractor who was going to bridge the gap between design and pure rider culture. Harley needed a striking emblem for the 1976 bicentennial Spirit of 76 line. Pulling inspiration from historical Americana and the compound curves of the gas tank, Paul masterfully married a bald eagle with the classic bar and shield.
Paul did so much more over the years. He illustrated portraits of editorial contributors used in hogtails. For a number of years, he created Harley Owners Group rally logos that appeared on pins, patches, awards, t-shirts, and literature.
He's a big part of the biker industry and lifestyle, you know. He's been there, he's lived through it. His artwork reflects it in many ways. And I mean, not just those two deals with Harley, he's done other things too, but you go through his house and it's a biker's house.
With a career spanning over 30 years as an artist, an independent contractor, and licensee to Harley, Paul Smith gave the great American freedom machine its wings. Through it all, he has remained an authentic, down-to-earth rider, a dedicated guardian of his craft, and a legendary brother in the Uglies Motorcycle Club.
As Paul's Liberty Edition art celebrated America's 200th anniversary, I think it's really special for him to be inducted during America's 250th anniversary. And I'd like to thank the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame for acknowledging Paul Smith and his art, and congratulate my friend on his induction into this distinguished group of motorcycle enthusiasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Smith. You are more than welcome to have your brothers with you. Congratulations. Thank you and welcome.
I can't believe I'm up here. I need a little help.
Thank you.
This is Charmaine Martin.
My name is Charmaine Martin. I met Paul in the summer of 1988. I work for a small company securing license contracts with the big automotive motorcycle corporations and NASCAR. I hired him for creative services for product design, packaging, and print marketing campaigns. Paul became my main two creative guy. He could do it all. And 5 years later, I became his studio manager, and I've been riding with him ever since. And he asked me to give his speech today, so here it goes. I was born in January of 1938 in Oklahoma City. Now, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I was born with a gift, a God-given gift. And as far back as I can remember, I was always drawing. I joined the U.S. Army 3 days after I turned 17 in January of 1955, just in time to get the Korean GI Bill of Rights, which was my ticket to art school. I spent 3 years in the United States Army, 25th Infantry Division, stationed in Hawaii at Schofield Barracks. I attended Layton School of Art in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the fall of 1959, and my first professional job was with the industrial design firm of Waldheim Kepke. I worked there from 1959 until the fall of 1963 when I was enrolled at school. Although my career started out in industrial design, I always loved illustration. In the fall of 1963, I opened my freelance art studio, Paul Smith Design and Illustration. 9 months later, I received my first Advertising Arts Award, illustrations for a booklet for the General Electric Company. By 1969, my illustration portfolio was repped by Silverton Mosier in Chicago, securing projects from the big advertising agencies like Foot Cone Belding, J. Walter Thompson, and Leo Burnett. I continue to do projects in industrial design, mostly for the display industry, and I won an award for the Schlitz Brewing Company's Whole Gusto campaign in 1972. So I got my first motorcycle, a 1951 Harley Davidson WLA, in the fall of 1970. I bought it off a guy named McCormick, who I met by chance at a bar in Milwaukee. I paid him $125 for the bike, less $35 for parts. The bike was a mess. I designed custom handlebars, put on a Bates solo seat, painted the tank, and applied my own custom tank decals. And that was my ride, running around to various advertising agencies and corporate accounts in the Milwaukee area. It was in 1974 that I got the phone call that's the reason I'm here today. Bill Davidson from AMF Harley Davidson was wanting to discuss a project, the design and development of tank decals for a special edition motorcycles originally dubbed the Spirit of 76 to honor the upcoming 200th anniversary of the United States. I remember riding up to the factory on that 51 WLA to meet with Bill. We hit it off, and he liked my ride. You all know him as Willie G, but when I first met him in '74, he was just Bill Davidson.
We had to rename him a little bit. he caught on. It was good.
Now, some people have indicated that I can be hard to work with, but in my defense, that just isn't the case. You see, as a freelance, independent designer, I know I'm as good as my last job, and whatever goes out the studio door needs to hit the mark. And it wasn't uncommon for me to wander away from a client's creative direction. And that's what happened with this project. The initial directive from Bill Davidson was to develop a graphic number 76 with stars and stripes, red, white, and blue elements. The directive was to keep in that creative lane. Well, I developed conceptuals through finished art with the number 76, but it just wasn't hitting the mark. I've been researching the American Revolution, looking at early Americana history for an illustrative decal for the top of the tank, when Joel Haybush, a copywriter down the hall from my studio, handed me a small booklet. You see, Joel was in-house with AMF Harley Davidson a few years back, and he'd written a small pamphlet about the history of the motor company. Well, I got reading that small book, and I learned about the early founders, young Arthur Davidson and John Harley, how this company had survived World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, and how they'd been bought by AMF, and the Hondas and Kawasaki's were being dumped into the country. The future wasn't looking good for Harley Davidson, the last American motorcycle manufacturer. And that's when it hit me. I wanted to celebrate Harley's unique American history too. And I wanted to take something Americana and something Harley and combine them. Well, the result of heading in that new creative direction was my American bald eagle perched on the old Harley Davidson barn shield logo. I had to redesign the barn shield, and I had to create finished art. Harley let it go back in the early 60s. I brought it back. The Made in the USA eagle became the secondary graphic, which I developed and positioned on the side of the tanks, proudly stating Harley Davidson, made in the USA, established 1903. Well, I completed the finished artwork for the Sportster, the FX, and the FLH tanks, and the FLH fairing. We decided to change the name from the Spirit of 76 to the Bicentennial Liberty Edition. And then I started on the painting. I managed to talk Bill into paying for an oil on canvas to be reproduced as a poster to promote the 76 Liberty Edition bikes. Originally priced out as a 20-inch by 36-inch oil on canvas, I decided I wanted to do something much bigger. The final 1976 Bicentennial Liberty Edition painting is a 4-foot by 6-foot oil on canvas, and the original hangs in the Harley-Davidson Museum today. Now, I was hired for this project because my talent included industrial design, graphic design, and illustration, and I used all 3 of those talents on this job. The artwork that came out of the project was purchased by AMF Harley-Davidson for limited use only for the 1976 Bicentennial Liberty Edition motorcycles. Well, those bikes flew off those tanks pretty quick, and they went everywhere. Well, there's more to that story, but you'll have to buy the book. Still, I'm grateful to G for selecting me for the project and trusting my creative direction. So here we are, the 250th anniversary of the United States of America.
Okay. It's almost finished.
So sometimes it feels like I'm right back where I was when I created the 76 Liberty Edition decals. Or maybe it's worse. It's got me worried about our republic, about the freedoms that our Constitution protects. You see, this old patriot biker doesn't have a lot of time left. So when I sign off, I'd sure like to know that all of you beautiful bikers are still out there riding free. Thank you. And now I give you Paul Smith, a visionary artistic genius.
I just don't know how to approach all this stuff. I've never been in a situation like this, but I love it. And I'm not gonna try to get it, and I'm gonna get more of it because I love what I do, and I'm gonna do it until I can't do it. And I love all you people that are here. It's amazing, and I just don't know. I don't have the words sometimes, but I just love it, and I'm gonna continue. Well, you know, what's the word?
The uglies.
Oh, the uglies. Oh, I forgot about you guys. I don't leave home out without these turkeys. You know, they're yeah, ugly. It's, we're all together. There, I'm really ugly myself.
All right. You can wrap up.
What?
We can wrap up now.
Okay. So I'm wrapping up. Okay. I have to be told what to do because I'm lost, because I'm learning right now. But I just love all you people, and I'm gonna still be, painting. I paint up bikes and everything.
You're good.
With respect, Paul, you know what I can tell you right now, and everybody in this room is going to agree with me. You're the moment. You're the reason why we come here. You're the reason why we celebrate the Hall of Fame. For moments like this with you, my friend. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Smith. Come and get your medal. We've got a medal for you over here.
Just a second.
You see the photos of him up there? That was one beautiful young man. How did you get so ugly? That was a joke, right? Hey, this is my good shit, okay? Can you laugh a little bit louder? So, Heidi, it looks like I have a gold envelope in my hand, and I put money in it, because putting money in a gold envelope helps the Hall of Fame in the museum. Where do I put it? Where's the box?
Right behind the camera.
You know what? I'm going to get the Shooter. Will you come and grab this? And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. If I go in front of these speakers, all hell is going to break loose with my mic. That is a donation, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you make a donation with your gold envelope to the museum, to keep it alive and keep these stories going. That was a magical moment. If we did not have the Hall of Fame, if we did not have the museum, you don't get to live in moments like that. Remember that, folks. One more time for Paul. Come on, Paul Smith. So here is something really cool. Again, coming from a completely different place in our lives. We're going to watch an induction video right now of the one and only, the great Rusty Wallace.
Might seem kind of odd to some people, but I've known Rusty for over 40 years, and he's always been a bike enthusiast, a motorcycle enthusiast.
Obviously, to be in the Hall of Fame, you really need to have done something of significance with motorcycles, which he has done. Like I said, it's genuine. He is passionate about motorcycling, and as I found out, he had been coming to Sturgis for years before I ever got involved. And it's like a big part of his life, and it's every year for him.
Long before he was a household name, Rusty Wallace's life was defined by family, hard work, and a relentless drive to compete. After conquering the highest peaks of stock car racing, a new passion came calling in 1993. NASCAR President Mike Helton invited Rusty and a crew of drivers to the Black Hills to experience the Sturgis Rally.
Fondest memories of Rusty is in Sturgis when we would gather there and do rides, and he would bring people like Don Perdome and other NASCAR drivers, and we would ride all over the beautiful area there around the Sturgis city and the rally.
And the motorcycle culture claimed him for life. Over 20 consecutive rallies later, that initial spark has evolved into a full-throttle obsession.
Little did I know, he'd been coming for years. I mean, Rusty is really passionate about motorcycles and about the whole Sturgis and Black Hills experience.
Upon retiring from racing and applied the exact same elite standards that defined his racing career to the art of premium custom bike building.
That's called Southern Country Customs. That was the original name. It was always Southern Country Customs. So we started Southern Country Customs, and the company took off. And I got my fingers crossed, because I promise you, to this day, it hasn't slowed down.
Alongside his son Steven, Rusty's former race shop became the birthplace for some of the most sophisticated, strikingly beautiful touring bikes on the planet. But Rusty's impact on the motorcycle world runs far deeper than custom paint and high-performance motors.
I got really big into philanthropy.
Used his notoriety to do things with motorcycles for a lot of good causes.
Driven by a lifelong commitment to children's causes, he spearheaded the annual Buffalo Chip Rusty Wallace Ride. Today, that event stands as a powerhouse of philanthropy, raising over $1.5 million for the NASCAR Foundation and Special Olympics South Dakota over the past several years. But today, we celebrate the pure, unadulterated passion he brings to the highways we love most. For his exceptional craftsmanship, his tireless generosity, and his unwavering commitment to the ride.
I just want to join everybody else in congratulations to Rusty for this honor, and well-deserved, very proud of him. And like I say, it seems maybe kind of odd to the motorcycle world for a guy like Rusty Wallace, to be honored at a motorcycle museum in Sturgis in the Hall of Fame there, but you'll understand real quickly why he is, and congratulations, Rusty.
Sturgis proudly welcomes Rusty Wallace to the Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fastest man we know, Rusty Wallace. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Wow, that's something else. I'm so humbled to be here, guys. It's unreal. I mean, I idolize what you did. I mean, I was a race car driver and I was pretty good at it. But the motorcycle thing is just beyond fantastic. Before I get started, I want to recognize one man, and he was on the video there, Mike Helton, our vice chairman of NASCAR. Mike brought me here 33 years ago. I've been coming to Sturgis for 33 years, and Mike, you're the one who started this whole thing. Would you stand up, please, Mike, and be recognized? Mike Helton. Other man I want to mention, Rod Woodruff. Rod is the one that got a hold of me and said, Rusty, you ever thought about doing a charity out here in Sturgis? I said, no, I never did think about it. He said, let's think about it. And myself and Rod put the Buffalo Chips, Rusty Wallace, presented by Harley Davidson charity ride together. And it's been gaining steam like crazy. I love giving back to the children, love giving back to the community. And our charity, right now, this is the 8th one. This is going to be the biggest one ever this year because of the 250th. And one guy who's really made this year's charity ride special is Scott Jacobs. Scott, where are you at? Scott, if you could stand up again and be recognized, because Scott, I asked Scott last year, I said, Scott, we've raised a lot of money. We can do better. This is the 250th. We'd be honored if you would design the paint scheme for this year's charity bike. And he said, I'd love to. We got an airplane, flew down to our shops in Charlotte, North Carolina, spent 3 or 4 days down there with our painters working on this design. And right now it's sitting at Outlaw Square, front and center at the Harley Davidson layout on display. And I'm just so excited the way the bike looks. It looks beautiful. I think we're going to raise a ton of money, Scott. It's going to be a lot because of you. We really appreciate that. Well, I drove race cars my whole life and loved it and won a championship in '89. Got put in 7 Hall of Fames. But I'll tell you what, I never thought I'd be put in a doggone motorcycle Hall of Fame. And I am so honored to have that done. It's unreal. The Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Man, that is bitching. I just think that's so cool. I'm all excited about it. Well, me and my son Steven started Southern Country Customs about 8 years ago. And I told you it's been going straight up. That hasn't slowed down. It just hasn't. We got cool suppliers of parts like Nick Trask. Nick supplies a lot of parts for us. We got all kind of people, RC Components. I can go on and on. Thundermax. Give us really cool stuff. And right now, I'm really happy to say that our company, since we started, I think 7 years ago, we're just now starting on our 300th build. We've built 300 custom bikes so far. And my son, Steven, now runs the whole company. I turned it over to him. He's the owner of it. Steven, why don't you stand up and be recognized? My wife, Patty, has been with me almost all these rides. She rides on the back with me all the time. She's here, rocking my life. But, man, I'll tell you what, I love this motorcycle stuff like you don't understand. It's just fantastic. My first custom bike that I really got excited about and got going was built by Paul Yaffe. Paul built me a really cool blue bike, all chromed up, real sexy looking, and I rode it, I remember, out in Phoenix, Arizona for the Bike Fest out there in Phoenix. It was great. And after that, I said, I think I'm going to start making these babies myself. Hell, I'm a NASCAR guy. I got cool shops. I know people. We can do this, you know, and I just love it. And so being a motorcycle builder now and in this industry with all you guys just really makes me feel good. But the thing that makes me feel the most excited about this industry is what we can do through philanthropy. And that doggone charity ride we're going to have next week, or actually this week, August the 14th, and taking off from Outlaw Square is going to put a big smile on my face because we're going to raise more money this year than we've ever raised. And I just feel it. I'm hoping the weather gods stay away. We're going to have a great ride. But above all, I'm all in. I love the motorcycles. I love from Anthony, and I love you guys. And I really, really appreciate you putting me in the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Check. So he got people to stand up. He got his son to stand up. Rusty, you didn't get your wife to stand up. And I'm going to tell you, I saw them coming in. Shit, dude, she is so far above his pay grade. Stand up, Mrs. Wallace. Come here. Ladies and gentlemen, Rusty Wallace's hot wife. Dude, I don't care how famous, how much money you made. Yeah, no way. Oh my gosh. We're gonna go to the education. Oh, hang on. This just in. Sometimes I get fan mail. Flash, you're an incredible fashionista. You have the greatest hair I've ever seen. And someday I want to be like you, Paul Yaffe. Thank you, Paul, if you're out there. Thank you so much. One more. Don't touch me at dinner like you did yesterday. It makes me uncomfortable. Paul Shadley. All right, well, it's kind of fan mail anyway, so there we go. Folks, we're going to go ahead right now with the Educational and Historical Preservation Award. I have an opportunity to be able to call this man somebody who I've been able to become friends with, and this is very well deserved. Let's roll this video.
I would say Dave's represents in the motorcycle world is his love and passion for building and restoring history, and being able to share that with everybody.
But a real motorcycle died in the wool Harley guy. He's probably at the shop right now.
Restoration, he can make that bike look perfect. You know, he's one of the best assemblers that I've ever worked with.
While most collectors look at a vintage motorcycle and see a trophy to be polished, Dave McGraw looks at a machine and sees a story that must be told. Growing up in Morristown, New Jersey, Dave was raised on a gentleman's horse farm. His great-grandfather, founder of McGraw Hill Publishing Company, embedded a deep respect for education in the family DNA. But while his father loved the water and equestrian sports, Dave's heart was beating to a mechanical rhythm.
He, was very influential, and in my collecting of things, he taught me how to. He wanted me to try to stick to one thing, specialize in one thing. So that's why when I finally did start to build and restore, I stuck to racing Harleys.
Over the past several decades, Dave curated a world-class living archive of motorcycle history. But Dave isn't just a keeper of steel. He is a master of precision. To him, a historic bike isn't a stationary sculpture. It must live, breathe, and run. Working with his team of experts on up to 5 projects at once, he hunts down missing parts, fits components, and fully rebuilds every bearing and bushing to make them completely functional.
He's got some of the rarest and most incredible motorcycles that you've ever seen, and some that you've never ever heard of.
So growing up with Dave as my dad, it was always motorcycles. Every night he would come home, he was, down in the basement working on bikes.
Dave's passion for the past is driven by an ongoing commitment to the future. Through the McGraw Foundation, he has become a force in supporting the educational mission of the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. For Dave, true historical preservation means dispelling old myths and teaching the next generation about the cultural and commercial impact of the sport.
That's just the way he is. Goes out of his way to help everybody. So we are all blessed to have Dave.
By rescuing the rare artifacts of speed from being forgotten, Dave has ensured that the spirit of motorcycling will roar on for generations to come.
You know, I saw on your website the individuals that are in the Hall of Fame, and I was just amazed. And I said, he's going to be up there with these guys, but you know, he deserves to be up there with these people because he does so much.
Dave is the king of cool.
We welcome the 2026 recipient of the Educational and Historical Preservation Award to the Sturgis Hall of Fame.
Come on, Dave. Come on up here, my friend.
Wow, look at all these faces, and what a hard group to follow here. But I'll show you. I'm a little dressed up today. My mother would expect that I was wearing a tie today. This is a tie from 1939, actual Sturgis motorcycle racing tie. So a little history and fun. I just want to thank the Hall of Fame for this. I'm honored and humbled for this award. I want to thank my wife and family for supporting my passion all these years, especially my son who's here today. We'll make him stand up. He's a motor police officer in Falmouth, Massachusetts. I would just tell you maybe just one little short story about an experience in my life that changed it and the motorcycle world. Years ago, I had a motorcycle that was going to sell to fund other motorcycles, and it was a 58 KR Harley Davidson flat tracking motorcycle. So I mentioned to some people, and I had already restored one that I had similar, so that's why I decided to sell it. And these two people showed up about 2 weeks later, and they are looking at the bike, and there was an older gentleman and a young guy. And I said, well, who's the bike for? And the older guy said, well, me. And I said, well, what are you going to do with that bike? And he says, well, I'm going to restore it and vintage race it. And I said, well, you're either crazy or, you know, have balls of steel, but to get on something that goes 100 miles an hour at that age, you know, with no brakes. And he told me his life story of racing. He was a flat tracker, a road racer, a New England racer, and how he would go to Daytona and hope to win enough money to make it back home. This is before trailers and, you know, all that fancy stuff they have today. And so he told me his racing stories, and he kept looking at the bike, and it was literally in a basket, totally disassembled. And he finally said, how much do you want for the bike? And I told him, and he says, I didn't spend that in my race career. So I told him, well, that's what they go for today. And he says, well, I'm retired and I can't afford it. And he says, I hope you can restore it like the rest of the bikes you've done. So it would, you know, be fitting in your collection. And so just before he left, he said, mine was 58 KR 2021, which was the motor number of the bike. And I thought to myself, that is the number on that bike. And he left. And then I looked at it and it wasn't, but I bought another set of parts and the motor was in this other bike. So I looked through all the parts and everything, and there was a folder with racing literature. I thought just manuals, but in the manual was a letter to the factory complaining about his road racer. His name was Frank Antonelli, very good racer, and he lived at the same address. So I called him back up and I said, you won't believe it, I have your bike. And he says, my bike never looked like that. I always kept my bikes perfect. And I said, well, someone took it apart and had their way with it. He sold him because his daughter raced, started with quarter midgets and then went on to hold the track record at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway until this day in SCCA racing. So I said, you should have the bike. And he said, no, he goes, I can't afford it. And I said, you know what? I have a lot of motorcycles. It's who you were. It was your life. It's who you are. So I'm going to give you the motorcycle. And he was floored. And so he restored the motor. I restored the chassis and everything else. And then he went racing for 15 years. He was 65. He had a stroke when he was 80. And he came back from the stroke. He rode the bike again, but didn't survive. I mean, he didn't race it again. But then after that, he had a brain bleed and it took his vision. So he said, come get the bike. I said, what bike's that? He says, the KR. I said, that's not my bike, it's your bike. You need to keep that bike. And he said, no. And so after 4 months, his wife finally said, you have to come get the bike. He's killing me. So I went and got the bike and we had lunch, we took pictures. I said, when your vision comes back, I'm gonna bring it back to you. And he said, okay. And I went home that night, I put it down in my collection. His wife called me the next morning and he had passed away that night. He was waiting for me to get that bike. She goes, good thing you didn't come 4 months before. So I want to thank everybody again. God bless you and keep you all. And thanks, for me, all of you, my motorcycle family, my brothers and sisters, have made my motorcycle ride the best in the world. Thank you so much.
Wow. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to tell you, the man you're seeing up here, this very humble man that you're seeing up here, thank you, Dave, is that gentleman. We were on the fall foliage ride a few years back. I don't even know if I was a hamster yet, but they were doing a tour at Dave's museum. And it was underneath his beautiful house in the Cape. It was underground museum. And I didn't get to go. And yeah, he didn't know me. He says, well, I'm sorry you didn't get to make it. He goes, what are you doing tomorrow morning? He says, come over, I'll give you a tour. Here's my address. Blew my mind. Dave, absolutely blew my mind. What really blew my mind, though, is when we were done, and we spent like 3 hours down there. I come upstairs, and you have to walk through his house. And, his wife and one of his kids were there and stuff like that. And, here comes another biker walking through the middle of my living room, to get out of here and stuff. And she was so gracious, and the entire family was so gracious, Dave McGraw, that... boy, they really put up with you for a lot of years in your hobbies and stuff. But bless you for having a beautiful family and a beautiful life. Thank you for paying it forward, Dave. Thank you. He also has a park. And in this park, he has unique people, adults and kids with unique abilities. And he's created a sports complex for them. And they adapt the sports to the people's abilities so they can be out there and they can be empowered and they can feel like a superstar too. There's a lot more to this man than you know. He's doing a lot of things out there and it's all philanthropic. God bless him. Where are we going to go now, Heidi?
I think we have a video. Is that right? Yeah.
We got one video coming up right now, and then we've got something. We're going to raise a little bit of money, right?
Sure.
All right.
A legacy is more than a name in a book. It's a lasting impression. It's blood, sweat, tears, and passion. It's the building of a future that will last for the ages. It takes hard work and sleepless nights. It takes a community a community that honors the ride, a community, a lifetime of building the foundation for our future. And it takes more than just us. Legacies aren't preserved by chance. They're protected by those who believe they matter. It takes a community of riders, enthusiasts, and supporters who believe the legacy of motorcycling is worth protecting. Ride with us on this vast road of heart and legacy by supporting the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. Help us build that legacy and continue to honor the ride for generations to come.
So let's talk about the difference money can make. And I know when we're dealing with nonprofits, we got to talk about money. It's just something, it's a necessary evil, folks. For instance, whether or not, I'm the founder of this little group called Bikers Against Bullies. And we became Bikers Against Bullies USA. And through, organically, we grew to about 27,000 patched members. That goes to schools. We do buddy benches, boys and girls clubs, and we empower kids, right? Then a company came to us called BRP, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, all that stuff. Beautiful group of people. They said, we just want to help. We don't want to change the way you do things. We just want to help. And they did. They helped us financially. And I'm going to tell you, we are now proudly Bikers Against Bullies worldwide with over 40,000 people in 6 countries. That's the difference money can make to kids' lives, veterans' lives, and our world. Remember, you can, here, how about this? Let's clap for this. If 5% of this country takes 5% of their time to pay it forward, we live in a different world. Let's clap for that kind of shit, right? What are we going to auction first? Where are we auctioning? Do we have
somebody that brings it up?
Do we have some the other sign? This one or the
So
other
the
one?
sign outside, it might not be brought up, but the sign outside that all the Hall of Famers signed as you guys came in will be the first item.
All right. Did y'all see that? Y'all see that sign out there? Yeah? Come on, kids. Y'all see that sign when you walked in? It's about 5 feet long. All right. Now, the next thing I want you to do.
There it is, over there.
Oh, there it is, right there. So, first I want you all to stretch out right here. Take your tiny little alligator fucking arms and stretch them out so they can reach your pockets. All right, let's do that together. Come on, stretch those arms. All right. Thank you so much, Vines. This is a beautiful patinaed. I did not say that. I said patinas. I did not say penis. I wouldn't even say penis on stage. That would be discrediting. Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. We've got all Hall of Fame members on here right now.
We'll also bring it back with us so that tomorrow, anybody who wasn't here or that's going to show up tomorrow can sign it too at the all-class meet and greet.
All right. So, how old is this? This was actually, you know what? It's interesting. You said that. I think it was like the 17th Pope of Rome, the Catholic Pope. I believe he actually had this in his enclave at one time. That's the rumor. I can't be sure, but it may be priceless. I don't know how fucking old it is. I mean, I think it's like a week old. I don't know. It's just made to look old, but it's badass and it's one of a kind. So, where are we going to start the bidding on this, folks? Come on. Do we have $1,000 right now? We got $1,000. We're looking for $2,000. $2,000, folks. We're looking for $2,000. Right now, we have $1,000. We got 2 over there. We're looking for $3,000 right now. $3,000. Oh, I love you, honey. $3,000 right now. Way to kick that guy over there in the nuts, too. That was awesome. We're at $3,000 right now. Who's got 4? Who's got $4,000? We got $4,000 over here. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs. We are looking for $5,000, people. Come on, $5,000. Who's got $5,000 for this? This is a one-of-a-kind piece. One of a kind. Marilyn, do not take that shit from Scott Jacobs. 40, I said 5,000. Oh. $4,500. We're at $4,500 by
There's
my
a
friend
hand back
Marilyn
here.
right now. We got a hand in the back there. What's your name, sir? What was that?
Ugly Danny.
You sure as hell are. All right, Ugly Danny's got $5,000 right there. $5,000 for Ugly Danny. Ugly Danny, you, my friend, are a great American. $5,000 right now. Have we got six? Have we got six out there? 6,000. We've got 5,000. How about 5,500? $5,500 right there. 6,000. 7,000? 10? No, I'm kidding. $6,000 right here. Scott Jacob. Danny, you gonna take that from Scott? You know he's a hamster, right?
Oh, man.
You're going to go 6,500. Scott, 7,000. 7,000. Ugly Danny, he's at 7,000, right? The guy wears a yellow shirt. Yeah. $7,000 right now. We're at $7,000. Anybody else want to get into the game here? Any new horses in this race? $7,000. We're looking for 7,500. 7,500. Now, I will tell you this. Don't forget, you can write this off. And this, my friends, is flash math. Oh, we got 7,500 in the back right there. 7,500, $8,000, $8,000, $8,000. We got 7,500, $8,000. I hate numbers with fives in them. Come on. You know what? Here's the deal, Scott. If you went to 8,000, he's already at the 75,000. If you're looking at flash math, that means actually this only cost you a net of $500. That's how that works in my brain. So thank you, my friend. $8,000. Anybody want to go 8,500, 8,500, 8,500? We've got $8,000 going once. $8,000 going twice. Scott Jacobs, well done. Thank you for your generosity. Wow, that was great.
A lot of fun.
Scott Jacobs is a badass. He does this like, every time we need stuff, like, when we're doing this kind of stuff, Scott goes, what do you need? He sends me a print. He sends me this and that so we can raise money for the kids. Thank you for your heart, my friend. The next thing we're going to be looking at is here. Can we get a camera on this piece right here, folks? Can we get a camera? Can I have a blue light, please? Where's the camera? Do we have a camera that...
Jared? No? Okay, perfect.
We got it. All right, look at this thing. You know what? I'm going to start. Whoever's wearing that yellow hat right there. Matt? Your hat's in the picture, it goes with the sign. Your hat's in the picture, it goes with the sign. Pipes? So, Pipes, stand up for a minute. I want to introduce you to a gentleman named Pipes. He is the guy who created this. Pipes is an OG builder. He's built some ridiculously, I'm going to say stupid stuff, and I mean that in the best way possible. I really do. Excitingly stupid stuff. And this is a beautiful piece. It's got over 250 man hours in this. This is the real deal. This is a real piece of art. And where are we going to start the bidding on this? We got to start the bidding at $5,000 on this thing. I mean, it's just, who's got $5,000? Who's got $5,000? $5,000 on this right now. We got 5. We're looking for 6. We're looking for 6. We got 5, 6. We got 6,000 right now. We're looking for 7, 8,000, folks. We're looking for 8,000 right now. We've got $7,000 on this piece right now. And I'm going to tell you what, if you want to, we're at $7,000. We can also have the inductees to sign this around on the acrylic part on that. It looked great with the backlighting. It's going to show. It's going to say Nick Trask. This is worth $10,000. That's what it's going to say. Nick's sons are already going, Dad, that's worth $10,000. But we're at 7,000 right now. We're looking for 8. We're looking for 8,000. $8,000, folks. 8,000. Come on, folks. Let's get into this right here. You are never going to have anything that looks like this again in your house. If you are a dude and you have that sign in your shop, you are going to get laid more. I guarantee this, ladies and gentlemen. So come on. And that's where I'm looking at some of you guys. I'd pay a hell of a lot more than $8,000 for that. So we're at $7,000. What was that? You guys have one of those. You can get all those you want, right? $7,500 right now. That girl, Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn. Oh, somebody call back there? Where is it? Rusty. What are we at, Rusty? 8,000. 8,000, Rusty. Marilyn, Rusty, Nick, Brock. We're at $8,000 right now. This is the time to show up a NASCAR legend right now by going $9,000. Anybody want to go $9,000? Anybody want to duke it out with Rusty Wallace right now? The guy's fast. I don't know how tough he is, but he's fast. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And he's got $8,000 in his pocket. Who's got $9,000? Who's got $9,000? Anybody over here? Anybody over here with $9,000? We got $8,000 going once. $8,000 going twice. Rusty Wallace, thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you.
Scott.
What'd we just do there? 15 grand?
Yep.
Wow.
Or I don't know. It's his math, so I don't know. 25?
Well, we're at 15 grand. Think about that when you're walking out with your gold envelope. Let's try to make that 20 today. All right? Are we having a good time? Are we having a nice time? This has been a very special, a very, very, very special Hall of Fame for me. This is my 4th year doing this. You never know. You get like the invite to come back next year. If I never come back again, I want to tell you that these 4 years have been the greatest opportunity in my life to serve you people. And if I do, well, fuck it. See you next year. Right? But in the meantime,
We have one more introduction to make.
we have one more introduction.
Now, please welcome a man who has been dedicated for years to our museum's mission and to the future of the Hall of Fame, our Hall of Fame chairman and class of 2014 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Keith Terry.
It's his fault that I'm here, folks. If I've offended you in any way, talk to him. Thank you.
Wow, what a year. We have a few things. We need to thank a few more people, and I'm going to start with the members of the board of the Hall of Fame and the museum. And they're all over out there. They do so much work. We're all volunteers to do as much as we can to put on this show tirelessly, the hours that it takes to get everything all set up. And I want to thank all of you right now, the Hall of Fame members of the board. I want to congratulate all the new inductees. This is a year that we brought in more Hall of Famers than we ever have. So that was, I think that's a good thing. And along with that, we have more people here to see it than we've ever had before. That's all of you. All of you are so important to the Hall of Fame induction breakfast. You come here and we can't do it without you. So I want to thank all of you. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow you can come to the museum in the morning. Heidi is 9 to 11. And There'll be many Hall of Famers there. You could just mix in with them. It's a nice event, and look forward to seeing as many of you as can make it. So we're coming to a close this year. Don't just leave right away, because all the new Hall of Famers, we're going to have your picture taken up here, so we have that. And then all of the Hall of Famers that happen to be out there will get together and come up and have your picture taken, so we have that on file. So Heidi, are we? Okay, so, hey, thank you all. We're going to close it out, and it couldn't be better. I think this is the best one we've ever had. Thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, can we have the new class, the 2026 class of the Hall of Fame, come on up to the stage to have your pictures taken? Other Hall of Famers, alumni, hang out here for the big picture as well. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. On behalf of myself, my family, Bikers Against Bullies in the Museum and Hall of Fame, ride safely and rubber down.